pan the room.
Alright guys, we're ready to get started if you guys are. It's good to see some of you guys again after the town hall. It's good to see some of you for the first time again. If everybody could get out the agenda in front of them, we'll start with that. Does everybody have a copy? It's right over there if you'd like one. Alright, so once everybody has the agenda out, I just want to go over what we're here to talk about today. And that's the budget and the rate and fee schedule and the proposed increases. The Arizona Open Meeting Law restricts what the board can talk about to those two items and those two items alone. Now,
introduce yourself.
My name is Devin White. I'm one of the attorneys representing the district.
Okay.
Our law firm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're paying for you as well?
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir.
Okay.
Yep.
You represent us or the board?
I represent the board. And
Oh,
the
okay.
district
So we
Paying for you.
Okay.
Guys, if that's how we're going to get started, this is going to be a long night.
That's all right, we don't care.
Absolutely.
And again, we're here to hear all of your questions, answer the best we can, but the only things the board can talk about, they are restricted by law to these two items. So you can ask those questions, the board will take it under advisement and add it to a future agenda, but just try to keep your questions limited to those two items, okay? And so I think with that, we can, Nisha, do you have any ground rules, or do you want to call them?
I would really like to talk a minute. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you coming. We all do. I want to remind everyone, this isn't our home.
Who are you?
My name is Alicia Michaels. I'm the coordinator for the district. I do work in the office, and I work for the customer users, okay? This place belongs to Lori and Randy. This is their home. This is theirs. So we want to behave ourselves and act accordingly. We don't want to act like a bunch of crazy people. So if we all just get through this very, very casually, we understand this is stressful, we understand you have a lot of questions. But if we take our time and go through this with you, I think you'll understand a lot of things. We will have time for questions, but they have to be questions. We can't talk over each other. Okay? So, and we don't mind the cameras going, if you want a video or whatever, but please just remember these are your neighbors.
All right.
Okay? These are your neighbors. And we want everybody to get along. It doesn't matter what's going on. We still need to get along. We still need to be neighbors. Okay? This is a consideration. We would like to keep it at 3 minutes for a question. And if it's something you've already said, let's just kind of go over and, let the next person talk. Okay? Is there anything that you need to ask me before we start?
Yes.
Yes, Stephanie.
Will anybody actually be able to answer questions on the budget?
Yes.
And why certain numbers are on there today?
Some of them, yes. Some of them, yes.
Okay.
Anybody else? Ready? Okay, we're going to begin then. I'm sorry, Melina. What can we answer for you?
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I would like to make a motion to cancel this meeting until I receive the documentation I requested 2 weeks ago to hold this meeting. And also because I did not receive my notice until 3:44 yesterday afternoon. And also because you sent out information in this folder that is wrong. So on those 3 reasons, I would like to make a motion to cancel this meeting.
I don't think you ever requested anything in writing.
I was in the
But
office.
You heard, but you come in a few times and you asked for a couple of things and we've provided. But we really need to see what those are. We have had to drop our job.
What?
Let's call the meeting to order and then you
I
can make
can't,
your
I
motion.
didn't do it.
We'll call the meeting to
You
order.
can make your motion. You can make your motion. Okay, so let's call the meeting to order.
Okay, it is July 9th, because it is Mark G's birthday, guy who works in operations and is about his buns, and today's his birthday, so happy birthday to Mark. And
We'll do a roll call.
I'm Elaine, I'm the board chair, and
Sean Collins, member at large.
Melina Reylek, treasurer in name only.
Vincent,
And Vince Altrui.
kind of loud.
I can turn.
And he's taking the secretary position, correct?
Why isn't he here? He's new. And
I
he's,
don't had to get off of work early just to get here. It's such a late.
Oh, he wasn't.
He's still out of town. He's gonna come back, so that's part of it. He's taking care of family out of town right now.
But he wasn't able to make it. We have a quorum of the board, and the Arizona law allows board members to be present by phone if needed. And so-
Additionally, he's new, and so he had to put this date in his schedule and he had other plans.
Okay. And again, my name is
So it's one
Dan
or
White,
the
I'm
other.
one of the attorneys representing the district.
And here's,
Alicia Michael's sister. Barbara Von Moses, zoning clerk.
and did we get, okay. Oh, so today is July 9th, I got up to Mark's birthday. And this is the budget meeting at the Black Canyon City Plaza, Suite 1. And notices were posted on the website, at the post office, and at the office. So it is 3:08, we call the meeting to order.
All right, yeah, we're gonna call the public hearing to order, and again, we're gonna start, Sean is gonna read through. I'm gonna have you guys flip over to the proposed rate and fee schedule. This is the hearing on the rate and fee schedule. We're gonna open this hearing, hear your public comment, close it, and then we'll get to the budget. But we're gonna start with this, and Sean, one of the board members, he's gonna read through the current and the proposed numbers. So if you have this in front of you, it'll be real helpful.
So, application fee and new service fees, the current is 100. We're gonna have the rental agreement and landlord information required for all for that one. That's the application for that. The security deposit is currently at 100. We're gonna be raising that to 200.
So what are you raising the application fee now?
That's not changing.
That's not changing, it's just the only thing that's changing on that is
Here we go. It's
for
getting
the
up.
rental agreement and landlord information is just required, that's all.
And guys, let's try to keep the questions to the end. We're just gonna run through this real quick, and we're gonna hear every single question you have, okay? So let's run through this.
All right, so for residential new lot services, they have an impact and development fee that is currently at $2,500. We're raising it up to $2,700 for that one. Meter installation, currently $500, we're gonna keep that at $500. Application fee is $100, we're raising that to $200. The refundable security deposit was at $100, we're gonna raise that to $250. The service connection was $350, we're keeping that. So the total currently for all this was $3,550, and it's getting raised up to $4,000. Let's see, and it says private line installation not included. Now we go to the commercial services. Application fee for new service fee is $100 currently. We're looking to raise that to $250. Security deposit for commercial is currently at $100. We're looking to raise that to $500 for commercial services. Total required for turn-on currently is at $200 minimum, and then we're trying to propose $750 for that one for commercial. On the next page, for the commercial new or redevelopment lot services. There's an impact/development fee currently at $2,800. The proposed is $3,050. Verified board approved amount.
Meaning,
So it has to be, so the impact development.
What's that mean?
It needs to do already approved that.
We're just gonna approve, like, be able to verify it.
I think that was just indicating that this was proposed.
Yeah, let's just propose it.
And so this is a proposed budget, we actually have to vote on it to approve it, so I think that's why that language was there.
Okay, so they left that verbiage in there. Meter installation is currently at 500, and then the proposed is based on meter size. Meter size greater than 5/8 would be cost plus 50%. Security deposit is currently at 100, and we're looking to make the minimum for the commercial 500. Application fee is 100, and the proposed is 300. Service connection is currently at 350, we're looking to do 500 for the proposed. Approximate total, 5,500, subject to meter size and installation. Because sometimes commercial has larger pipes. Photocopy fees, copy per page, 50 cents. Staff time, 15 an hour, mileage, 35 cents an hour. Or 35 cents a mile, excuse me. Miscellaneous fees, return checks, $25. Standby services, $29 per month. These are all current and staying the same. Off hours, turn on, $100. Meter testing, $100 minimum. Unauthorized, turn on, turn off is $100. Turn water on following, no down payment is $100. The new proposed is 50% of the total of the last 6 months of the bill. Meter, inaccessible, $25 per read. The new, that's what's current. The new one is $25 per read attempt. Additional meter read attempt is $25 each. Parts/fittings/supplies cost plus 10%. Okay. The rate scheduled current monthly base rate is $32. The proposed is $51.38. Residential capital improvements is $3 plus $1 per 1,000 gallons. That's what we are currently. The proposed is $5 plus $1 per 1,000 gallons. Commercial capital improvements is currently at $6 plus $1 per 1,000 gallons. The proposed is $9 plus $1 per 1,000 gallons. Late payment penalty, 3%. Delinquent fee, 30 days plus days is $15. And that is it.
Okay, so again, Sean just read through the current fee schedule, what it provides, and what the board is currently proposing. We're going to start with public comment. If you're tracking the agenda, that's item 3B. We just went through 3A, we're now on 3B. I think it would be best, we're going to start on this side, and we're just going to move our way this way, okay? So if you have a question, raise your hand. We're going to start on this side of the room. Ma'am, you're right up front.
Okay.
You'd like to start.
So currently, it should cost someone $200 to have their water turned on, currently, correct? Application fee $100, security deposit $100.
Okay.
Is that correct?
You said the application fee is $100, yes?
Yeah, and security deposit $100.
Yes.
So when I walk in and get my water turned on, it costs me $100.
Right.
Then why did my brother-in-law walk in and charge $250?
Because the application fee is a certification of 50, and we did take that 50 and put it towards his bill, so that he had credit.
Okay. But that's not following the
That's
schedule.
Oh, I
because this is
see.
new.
You said 250?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look, well, never mind, I'm reading the proposed. There's a residential new line. Is it a new line or is it just, I don't know.
It's existing,
Oh, it's
and the
existing.
application says $200 and
Yes.
50 for certification. We took that $50 and put it towards his account so he has credit,
Oh,
because the application is wrong.
Okay, that's-
And because we need a board to make the changes on that application.
But when someone does that, I want to clarify, what does, new service mean to you, Elaine? Does that mean a new house built?
Yes,
Okay, it doesn't mean someone moving in and let's charge them $3,500, okay? Okay, just clarifying that,
Or if you had a disconnect and you have to reconnect.
because somebody that just moved into the community and transferred their water over, it is not $3,500. You never advocated.
If
for
they
it.
do the proper transfer.
Tom's correct on that.
But you have to do the transfer
Anybody else on this side
properly.
of the room? Yes, ma'am.
Why for water turn on Lake Canyon are you changing it to 50% of the total for the last 6 months of bills, considering someone getting their water shut off is probably struggling? Elaine, Clayton, you had a bleeding heart for that sweet lady before you got on the board who didn't pay her bill for almost a year and didn't want the water company to put her bill up, so I'm just wondering.
I guess I'm having a hard time hearing you.
So she said, why is
Pardon?
it?
Why 50% of the total of the last 6 months of bills to turn the water back on for non-payment?
There used to be an angel
Because if
fund.
people aren't paying their bills, then we need to ensure that the district can cover their bill. And so if rates increase, then the past due bills are going to be larger. And if people are struggling, it actually is a way of helping them to ensure that there will be money somewhere for them to help pay a bill. And the deposit, you know, if worse comes to worse, we might be able to use some from the deposit. And we're actually looking at other things to help people who might struggle having their bills. We had someone in the office the other day, and in fact, we referred a couple of people to them. We also have a referral for a church in Anthem for people to get help with these bills. We know that it's a struggle, and we totally understand the financial dynamics of this community. So we're doing everything we can to really help support those that might struggle some. And if we charge a $50, I believe the last fee was a $50 shut-off fee and then a $100 reconnect fee. Well, if those people pay that, that's pointless. That just goes to the district. There's no benefit to the customer. But if we charge them 50% of their last 6 months of bills, that's helping them because it's putting some money aside in an account in case they ever fall really short again. And then it doesn't leave the district in such a vulnerable position.
So you're acknowledging that there is a struggle in this community to the point where we have to reach out to a church and Anthem
Yeah,
for help.
yes.
But we want to do this larger.
So, we're talking two different issues here. I appreciate that this is probably, I don't know, 10% of the population maybe. And we're listening to, we have 860 or 70 users, and however many is here. So it's a percentage of the community, and we appreciate you coming. However, there's another percentage, there's another 85 or 90% of the community that we have to consider as well, and they're not here. So the two issues are, yes, raising rates suck, because it always cuts into people's budgets, and regardless of how long we wait, nobody's ever going to be able to say, I can afford this. No one will say that. Then we have the districts, which if you were to go out and stand on a hill and look over our districts, and I say this with great passion, you would see nothing but a hot freaking mess. It's like there has been a dark drape over this district for a number of years, and finally it's pulled back, and we're seeing all of the repairs and things that need to be done just so you can keep getting water to your faucet and shower. Because we could be meeting here right now, and you guys could be complaining that you don't have water, and we'd be in the same boat. And you wouldn't have water because we wouldn't have raised the rates to allow us to move forward and do just the basic things the district needs to continue to operate. So it's a tough choice.
I would say one thing too is, this doesn't, you know, the large increase doesn't have to be forever. People pay their stuff online, like, we can come after this budget and go, you know what? We're doing good.
It never happened.
Never.
We reassess every year.
Ma'am, is there anything else we can address?
I have something I'd like to say.
I was just saying.
Yes. What was your name? Brooke Funny Donation. Brooke, we've developed something called a one-time grace. Because we know people are struggling. That one-time grace is for people who are struggling. So if we can, we will help. We can't wash off everything, but we will help.
That's good.
So,
That's good information to know. And I understand the rate increase in a sense. I think the transparency, I guess, has been the biggest issue. Thank you for answering my question.
Let's keep with the going. So we're going to sort out this column here. Okay, great. Thank you so much, ma'am, in the back.
What I'd like an explanation is the residential capital improvement and commercial capital improvement. Last, I think it was 2 years ago, you put that on to cover some costs. And now you want to raise it again. For what? And then our monthly bill, for what? What are these costs for capital improvement and for commercial and residential? And these are new.
Oh, okay, so capital improvement funds, and I'm going to read something, thank you for asking that question, because I do have a notice from the CPA. This is what she's saying about capital improvement funds and the funds in general. Ideally, every month, money would go into what she refers to as a savings account, and that's a capital improvement fund account. And that's an account where you put so much money each month so that when you have this big repair that needs to be done, or a big or an emergency that costs a lot of money, you have the funds to be able to pay for it. That's what capital improvement funds are for. Then you have your general fund, and that's for all of the other maintenance. For example, if we, oh my gosh, we have so many things that need to be replaced. It's crazy, and that would all come out of the general fund. If we get to reallocate WIFA funds, the WIFA money, WIFA has the WIFA money. All we were approved for was a loan. We have to apply to see if we could use a part of the loan, and instead of putting it into the well that's dry, we could put it into assessing the other wells, and we need to do that because we're down from 4 to 3 wells. We lose one more well, that's a repeat. So that would not be, so we would have to have the money in our capital improvement funds to pay for all of the well repairs up front. And right now, the invoices for the well repairs total about $97,000. Just to look for a well, to repair the wells that are there so they will continue operating. As we described before, there's a tank on incline. There's a dishwasher hose going from the tank to this meter because it's just been jerry-rigged for so long. And when this report, our CAC, was written, Sierra, she did not know that we were going to have be down a well. Because when she was here, we had 4. Now we have 3. Sierra didn't know that we were going to probably have to start hauling our arsenic waste off in a hazardous waste vehicle, correct? Because the controls on the arsenic system in one area were just disassembled. Nobody knows why. So those are things that they weren't aware of.
So
in this budget.
So these are added on to the $51.38, the $5 and the $9? Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all extra.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll keep moving. You said your question was answered?
My question was the same thing. What exactly is the capital improvement fund being used for? And why can't we use some of that money for people that need assistance instead of relying on the church and anthem?
Because the district isn't a charity. We can help people provide resources, maybe to a one-time grace, but we cannot take funds from the district That turns us into a whole different organization. Is that right?
Yes, and again, capital funds can be used on capital projects. Operating funds are used on operating costs.
However, as the CPA has said, if we have to use capital improvement funds to fix operational items, there, I would quote from the CPA, routine maintenance should be out of the general funds. The capital improvement funds should be viewed as a savings account for large and unexpected non-routine repairs. Replacing pumps and electrical panels are large and not regularly occurring, and they can be used from either account. Replacing meters, fixing leaks, a lot of other things are used from operating. So because the district's income has not been enough to put money in the savings account, and I'm sure you guys understand that. I should be putting 10% of what I make in a savings account, and I put 0. And that's what's been happening with the district for a long period of time.
Is there itemized records that can get printed out each time you send a sheet out? Do they show what the expenses are and or what they were spent on or on?
Should we get to see that?
Is that something that-
They're on the general ledger. However, what we're gonna have to do with that is we're gonna have to drill down those buckets. In other words, I have a well GL, the general ledger well, and it covers all the wells, and it talks about all the money spent
Did they
there.
list it all out?
I wanna know what's in Oasis, I wanna know what's in April, I wanna know what's in all of them, because
Yeah.
I can't say, well, this one's outdone its worth, and we're repairing a pig with lips.
Right.
So we might as well buy a new pig.
So-
we have to be able to do that in order to do it, and
Oh,
we
so
are
we
working on
haven't
it.
got that yet, but
Nope.
we're getting it?
And
Okay.
so it was brought to our attention 2 days ago by Debbie, and I am working diligently on that already.
Okay, that's what I was curious, if we're ever gonna be able to see what it's
Yes.
spent on.
Yes.
You know, what are our expenses like for our trucks and,
Yes.
you know, the equipment on them?
Yes. And I've done that already for the utilities, I just didn't know how to get that information for the wells, so we're working on that right now.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. And by the way, the bookkeeper's report is available on the website. Every month, we post the bookkeeper's report. And, you know, that's more than has occurred here before.
And that's prepared
Yeah,
by
the
the
website is
CPA.
really
Right.
good. It's improved.
We're gonna circle back with you, sir, ma'am. Have I answered your question? Or has the board answered?
Yeah, I just want to say the website has improved quite a bit, I do look at it, so thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so it seems like maybe you were quoting the CPA about how you're using your funds and you take it from here and you take it from there. Apparently, the CPA is not aware of the Arizona revised statutes, which when you have a line item on your bill that says capital improvement fund, you may not commingle that money into your general operating fund.
Right,
Correct.
right.
You haven't deposited the money into the capital improvement fund.
Ma'am, there is a statute on point that does allow the board to move money. They just have to do so by vote. And there's some other requirements. But that is generally permitted in some circumstances.
We're not moving money illegally. We are doing everything appropriately.
Can you find that statute provided to us?
If the board would direct that, I would be happy to. Ma'am, have we answered your question?
Not really, but let's move on.
Okay. Ma'am, in the back?
I am not a member of this water district. I'm actually here for a client, multiple clients. I have a client who has 3 properties that were built in 1998. He was told last month that his meters will need to be updated. This is a little bit of a twofold question. His meters will be updated to a 2-inch meter and be classified as commercial. He does not own commercial property.
Who told you this?
It's rental apartments, it's ROI.
Correct.
It's, okay. Okay.
My question on this for Mr. Enix. If the meters are broken, I understand them being replaced. I understand that. But since this, in my opinion, this sounds like this is a batten down the hatches and nobody even buys an extra pencil at the moment for the current owners of this district. why are we upgrading in a world, in a desert of water conservation where the outflow is going to be so much more? Admittedly, the outflow is going to be much higher. If everything has worked the way it has since 1998, even if it's got to go up a little bit, maybe you can't even buy those meters anymore, I don't know. But there is going to be higher water usage, hence a higher bill. But his base fee will go up to $268.56. That's base.
Per meter.
Per meter. The level, and I know it's talked about all the time, and everybody proposes that they care. I have 11 tenants that are paycheck to paycheck, hard-working community members. They struggle to survive in this world. If he's got a base fee of $268, right now his water bill runs about $120 to $125-ish a month, it's going to triple. That's just going to roll down on them. Rents are going to go up. He's managed to not raise his rents in 21 years. But why are we classifying him as commercial and putting in a 2-inch meter when, and understand, my brain is ignorant here. So I'm asking for honest questions so I can pass it back to Raymond.
I'll tell you the same thing I told Raymond.
Which he didn't understand.
It already has a 2-inch meter on it, but you can't read the meter. So we're guessing at what it's using, and there's 4 apartments for each of those units, and there's 3 units.
There's 2 meters.
They're okay, but you're still talking about 3 buildings, 4 apartments each.
Correct.
And you're using 2-inch meters. 2-inch meters put out more water at one time than the 5/8 meters do. So each time that dial drives, it's costing more money than Debbie's over here with one single 5/8 meter. Now, if those meters still ran and we could still read them, we wouldn't change them out. And we're not charging him to
No, I
change them
understand
out.
that. I did not.
Let me
Did I
finish.
say?
I know, but I'm
I
just
didn't
making
say
sure
that.
everything's clear here. I let you speak, please let me. So we're gonna change those out, not on his dime, but on our dime.
I understand.
Because we want to be able to see what the actual meter is, because that's half the problem. We have to be accurate here. And that's detrimental. It has to be. So, as far as the base fee, I don't know that the board has actually made any kind of a resolution on that, but I will tell you, and I'll tell you what I told him. In Pine Strawberry, for commercial 2-inch, they pay $256 a month for a base fee, and that's what I told him.
He sent me the thing. It's $268.56 commercial, and if you got a 2-inch meter, it's $268.55 residential. You get
But that was
free.
for Pine Strawberry.
That was for Pine Strawberry.
But
And I
But
did tell
understand
him
when
that they were not,
you
they had
send
not.
that to an owner user, again, I think these people are more than clients or customers. This is who owns the district.
I know that.
This is who owns it, and when the questions aren't answered and they're met with frustration on the phone and they still don't have an understanding. But when you send a bill and say, when you send somebody a bill and say, this is Pine Strawberry, there is an assumption that those are the rates, in fact, that you guys are going with.
When you spoke to him, did he also tell you that because we couldn't read his meter, and even though he had a water leak, I reduced his bill? Did he
The
say
water
that
leak
part?
wasn't on his side.
It was in his apartments. It was. In fact, the water pressure went down because his maintenance guy wouldn't go and turn the water back on, so we had to go do it. So we do have a good heart.
Our maintenance guy had tried to reach out to you guys multiple times. But I didn't come here to argue. I came here to ask genuine questions for my knowledge for a client. And the other thing that I'm going to say, guys, is you are going to slaughter this community if every time somebody dies, hold on a second. I have to say, I beg you. Okay. We have multiple clients that a relative will die, bills haven't been paid for 5 or 6 months, and they're told they've got to pay an impact fee, which is technically a re-impact fee, before they can get that water turned
Man, this is
on.
so specific, you should come to the office and talk to us about it. We're trying to pass a
Oh my
budget
God.
here.
No, I can tell her, no, that's not going to happen. Excuse me. Wait.
Yes, we're still on rates and fees, we'll get to the budget.
We will. And the the base fee for commercial is right now the same as it is for residential.
But understand, that's not what was sent to my client.
Well, I can't do anything about that. All I can tell you is that is a not understanding or not having seen.
No, it says, here's the pine strawberry.
I believe her point was to send an example of what she was talking about, and these are how other districts or another district, this is what they charge. She was just trying to explain that to him, and he didn't interpret it that way. So that's just, a really non-consequential misunderstanding. Okay.
Sure. Is there anything else we can help you with?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I have a question. My last bill was for 23 days, okay? We are now at 34 days and we haven't had a bill. So if this rate increase passes, are you going to try and send us a bill for the new rate? Because we're at 34 days right now without a bill. We've already used this water, we shouldn't be billed a higher price.
Do you have this document?
Yeah, I have a copy of that. I know how to read a bill.
This document explains what you're asking, okay?
That's not what I'm asking.
You are.
I want to know, when we get the bill, is it going to be at the new rate or the old rate? Because we're already at 34 days without a bill.
Ma'am, we're here to talk about the rate and fee proposed increase. Do you have a question about that?
That is the question.
Well, that's about billing procedures.
This is water that's already been used. You can't bill us for a higher rate. It's already been used. And we're at 34 days and no bill.
The effective date of the new rates, assuming the board approved them, would be, when they approve them today. That'd be the first day that the new rates are in effect.
And another thing, about 3.5 years ago, the water company had a project. They were refunded by WIPA, which is a government entity. They were refunded for, I think, about 70% of what that job costed. The money was not put back in the general improvement account. It was put in the general account. That's why there's no money in that account. It went into the general account, and it should have gone into the general improvement account because it was covering a project that the water company paid for out of the general improvement account.
Thank you for that. I think you were wanting to ask a question, Devin, was here.
Hold on. Yeah, so I don't know if that was a question, but I think even if it wasn't related to the fee increase we're talking about right now.
Excuse me, I guess I'm not allowed to speak, huh? What a bunch of bullshit.
We're staying on track.
Sir, if you...
The people of Black Canyon City own the water company. You don't. You need to listen to these people. You're screwing them.
Ma'am, we have meetings...
You put money in an account that should have gone into the general improvement because it was a grant from a government entity, WIFA. Okay, I know this for a fact. And you spent all the money on the moving, the improvements, the new furniture you didn't need, your lunches. It's bullshit.
Don't forget the lawyer.
Don't forget the lawyer.
And
We'll put that on a future agenda item to thank you.
Sir, I don't want to skip you. You're at the end of
Everybody, I'm Greg Watson. The proposal that you've given us and the lines you read of each thing that's going to go up, do any of those reflect line by line what the RCAC recommended us have our rates increased to?
No, that's because it's up to each individual district. They only addressed the base rate increase and the capital improvement. These other fees, that's up to the individual district.
Good question, Greg.
So,
to determine what they are.
so the rates they gave us, the rates you have there, they're different than the rates they gave us? It's a different thing? Is that why you're saying you can't compare apples to oranges?
They only made a recommendation for the base fee, which is what we're proposing, and the capital improvement, which is what we're proposing. Those are the only two things they make a recommendation on.
So their recommendations, whatever it was, it's nothing to do with what you're talking about now, even though the last meeting I was at, it sounded like it was about half of what you were recommending to raise it.
So RCAC,
Yeah, that's on
and I
rates.
spoke with, or I actually emailed Sierra Vicky, and I told her, so, you know, our owner users are just really angry because you have this, you know, amount of, well, 11 or 12, whatever the amount was, should be. And so in their mind now, that's what it should be, and not more, and yet that amount doesn't close enough of the debt we need to take on to, not debt, the money we need to use to repair the district. So she said the recommendations presented in the rate study final report prepared by RCAC in March of 2026 for BCCWID are intended to provide a technical basis for decision making and are not intended to prescribe a single course of action. The district's board of directors retains the sole authority and responsibility to establish utility rates after considering the analysis together with the current financial conditions, anticipated capital needs, customer impacts, regulatory requirements, and other factors deemed relevant. So she gave that amount as, this is what we would recommend for just a very basic recommendation. But you have to consider all of these other things and include that so you can develop the big picture. RCAC just gave us a snapshot. We have to develop the big picture. RCAC did not know that we were going to have to end up hauling arsenic waste off because we should be able to just recycle it. And now we have to pay to have the equipment fixed so it can do that. They didn't know that one well was just going to die. And if we lose another well, that would cause an issue. And people always talking about how there's no pressure on Maggie Mine. And it's because it needs a booster pump. We know this, but do you know how much it costs to put a booster pump? Yeah. It's very expensive.
Let's get to the next person.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your patience.
We don't have a quote on it yet. It's just very expensive.
So my question is in regards to the proposed budget on this sheet, folks.
Sir, if I could just jump in on that, we're going to get to the budget hearing.
Oh.
The board cannot answer any budget questions at this time, but we're going to get to that.
Oh, okay. Then
We're
I'll.
going to get to that today.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're still on 3B. Section 4 is the budget. We're going to get there.
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, I think you. Okay, we got a few left. We'll start with you, ma'am.
So I would like to know, I know the budget has to be turned in by the 10th of July. That's tomorrow. You have to vote on that one way or another. As far as the rate increase, is there some kind of a time frame that you're locked into? You have to come up with a rate increase by tomorrow?
I can address that one. I'm not aware of any specific timeline, but the rates and fees and the proposed increase are a fundamental part of the new proposed budget. So
Okay.
you sort of have to do that.
Okay, so it would be possible to table this for later and submit the existing budget from this last year and go with that, submit it to the county, and then after you have your ducks in a row, then maybe, and you've decided on the rate increase, then you could come up with a new budget that's more reasonable.
Right.
Why not? You're shaking your head no. Why?
So, here's what I want to say. I really have been trying, and I think I've made a lot of inroads in helping people with their bills and fixing them and making sure you guys are paying a reasonable amount and not paying for somebody not reading your meter or whatever thing happened, your meter went bad, whatever the deal. We plan to get grants. We plan to go for them. We plan to try. But I have to be able to have the time and the bandwidth here to get there. And so we get over this hurdle. Mark and I have already talked about the pressure pump, the booster pump. We're already got our minds clicking on that, trying to figure out who we can get to help us get that done. I need to move in that direction. And Elaine, bless her heart, she's a volunteer, and she's doing everything she can to keep the money taken care of in the billing cycle, but just, trust me, we're working on it. I
Well, I
promise.
thank you for your answer, but it really didn't answer my question.
Because when we.
Stop! I'm talking.
Oh, sorry.
You didn't hear me, I guess.
Well, I do have trouble.
You're
hearing.
still talking. My question was not answered. My question was, it is an option to submit the budget from last year to comply with the July 10th ruling. Then go into your sessions, whatever you have to do, and reevaluate it and submit a revised budget later on after you have come up with a reasonable rate increase.
We have spent months working on this budget. We've had a lot of meetings, we've had a lot of discussions, we've had a lot of discussions with the CPA.
I just think that, could we do it? Is it possible that we could do that? But then we're not addressing any of the problems we're talking about. We gotta pay the bills. We have to be able to pay for this stuff. Like we keep on reiterating, and we did 3 months, the other day, it was hard to describe some of the stuff that we talked about 3 months ago. I didn't have it in my pocket. Why the increases went up like that? We had that because we specifically had those sit-downs with CPA. Went over each line item. These numbers didn't just come out of nowhere. We voted on each line of this stuff. So I know it's frustrating. Once 3 months later, we're trying to get into the minutia about it. But just like you said, can we do that? Yes, we can. Can we do it, what we're asking right now, and go back to it and reduce it? Absolutely. I know everyone sounded too hard about that, and we couldn't do that. Absolutely, we can do that. So we should be able to pay our bills and get our new stuff so we have a functioning water system. Would you agree with that?
I would agree that you could reevaluate the budget in the rate increase, because that's what we're talking about, that they're all tied together.
Absolutely.
That you could reevaluate it this month. I'm not talking about putting it off for a whole nother year. I'm talking about reevaluating the budget and coming up with something that's more palatable to the community. And also, the capital improvements don't all have to be done at once. I know you want to replace all the meters, but that's kind of pie in the sky. The meters, my meter works fine.
If I can, but we're not talking about budget, we're still on the rates and fees, so what's particular on here is that's not reasonable. That's what I'm trying to figure out, because this is what we're trying to.
Because you have not been able to provide the community, with transparency of where these numbers came from.
You should have access to all accounts.
What kind of transparency are you looking for? Because we publish the financial stuff every month.
Maybe the word I should use was justification for some of the expenses and the upcoming expenses.
So you expect us to justify everything we do?
Yes. Every penny should be itemized.
Yes. That's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on.
Let's get back to it. Have we answered your question?
Again, no, you really haven't answered my question, but that's the best explanation.
Well, we're going to keep going. Sir, you in the back, and I think a couple over here.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My question is, it is on this proposal right here. And I'm looking at this right now, I'm looking at the security deposit going from 100 to 200. Then I'm also looking at it on the residential lot where it is going to 250 as a refundable deposit. Now, as a business owner myself, where I have to put out bonds and everything, I just understand that the security deposit should be, and that's going to be a total different issue, but that needs to be in a separate account accountable.
It is.
Right.
Okay? So if on July 1st, I have water put on my property, I have my service put on, I pay my $200. On August the 1st, my company calls me up and says, hey, we're transferring you. We're going to cancel you. we're gonna move you out. So I go to the water company on August 1st. I say, I need my water turned off. You're gonna give me a $250 rebate?
What? We're having an uninvited guest coming out of this.
Then turning all this question and answer his question.
No, that's a serious question because that is an issue.
question.
We don't know the answer.
Vincent?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you were still there.
Do I need to readdress the board and hear my
Can you
question?
turn that down?
Yes. Trying to stay awake. Okay, here's my question. August 1st, I come to the water company.
Excuse me, we're trying to hear him so we can hear what he's saying.
You approve this proposal today, it goes into effect, we'll call it August the 1st.
Okay.
Argument's sake. I come in, I put my $200 down for my security deposit.
Right.
I'm not even gonna ask you what account that's going in, but I know it needs to go into a different account.
Absolutely.
Okay? Now, on September 1st, my company calls me and says, hey, we're transferring, you gotta go. So on September 1st, I come to you people, and I say, I need my water turned off. I'm gonna get my security deposit back, but according to your paperwork on the residential side, it says I get $250.
When was this?
It's right here, Elaine.
No, when?
I didn't say when, I'm giving you dates.
Hypothetical.
This is where our chairman needs to pay attention.
Oh.
It's hypothetical.
I didn't know you were talking about, I thought you said it happened.
No, I'm saying, it could really,
You're saying hypothetical.
it could happen.
That's what the disconnect was. I was like, I don't remember this happening.
Because what needs to happen, and the attorney here, he might be able to explain it better than me,
Okay.
but as a landlord, when I take security from somebody, it needs to go into a separate account.
Yes.
That security yearly gets paid interest back to the tenant. But the way you have this written up, in 1 month's time, I can get a $50 bonus out of you guys. And I'm ready to do that. Go ahead and propose this. I'll have my water turned off. I'll come in with $200. Next month,
Wow.
I'll turn it back on again.
Well, there's management for you.
And you don't have anything on the commercial end of this.
Good catch, man.
So that is a question for Natalie, and I
No,
know.
that's not.
Here we go again. Conveniently, she's not here.
This is your proposal today that you're going to vote on. I asked you to please vote on it and pass it yes. And I'll make it, and I'll.
Can I ask you a clarifying question?
Yes, go ahead.
So the refundable security deposit right now is 100.
Yeah.
The proposed is 250.
No, the proposed is 200. It's in the first column, Devin.
I see 250.
I see refundable security deposit.
It's 250.
Right. So it's 250, the proposed. So 100 now, proposed is 250.
Customer, August
Does he have a different one?
This already goes into effect, we voted
That's
here
for new
today.
residential service.
I put $200 down.
That's for vacant lot.
So
So I put $200 down today after you guys go ahead and approve it.
but why 200? Why not 250?
Because that's what the 200 is. It says security deposit, 200.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
No, that's where it comes
Yeah, sir, I think your question is well made, and the board will take that through.
So then, if the board needs to take that in, we can't vote on this proposal.
Correct. That's correct.
No vote.
We can't vote on
No vote.
And that's just something that I don't find in this paperwork.
Well,
And if you want to investigate, I'm sorry, Devin, I don't want to cut you off. But if you want to investigate it a little further, you don't have anything on the commercial side.
You're right, we do not.
Well, there you go. So it's an incomplete proposal.
Wow, good catch.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to the special meeting later. Okay, so that's where the board will discuss all the comments they've heard today, okay?
Is that before or after the vote?
Proposed,
Oh, so we're gonna have a special meeting with just the,
No, you guys are all gonna be here if you want to be here.
okay. Okay.
So, again, we're in the right fee here.
Okay.
Once we get through all the questions, we're new to the budget here.
Okay.
Once we get through all those questions, close it, we're gonna start a special meeting right here in this room, we're not going anywhere.
Before they take the vote.
Before they vote, the board will discuss.
I got you, and I understand that. Just one more thing you want to throw out to the boards, because you're representing the board, you're not representing me, unfortunately.
Right.
Okay. It's gonna be where security money also goes to.
It's gonna be what?
Where the security money goes to.
Yeah,
And why the interest isn't paid out, because I could live here for 30 years and you're telling me I'm like $200, I'm only making $250. Where I would make more than that in the bank. Elaine, that's business, excuse me, I'm not done. So, as the attorney for the board, I can only make the recommendation that you give them a fiduciary responsibility what they have to do with that money.
Right.
Thank you for your comments, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
I'd like to let everyone know that there is an account at the Yavapai County Treasurer's, and it is specifically an account for deposits. And that the amount of the money in that account would be on the bookkeeper's statement.
I never said the board wasn't doing anything wrong.
And it could be that it gets interest in that account.
Interest needs to be paid out to people. And I believe you don't have a quorum right now, so you need to take a break.
We have three still, we have three.
I have my doubt.
LaShawn?
That's
I have no clue.
Yeah, we still got the one guy on the phone, so there's still 3 for quorum. Vincent Altrui, who couldn't be here, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're going to do some bathroom breaks, so we're going to 5-minute recess. Okay. We'll finish two more questions over here. We want to get it
Well, we'll just keep this stream going, I guess. Battery.
You better believe it.
We should have a deputy. Nah, it'll be okay. I think this crowd is pretty chill. Yeah, we'll be okay.
No, it's okay.
I guess Jeremy didn't come, so I may just need that battery pack. I guess this could go for a while. I was wondering, I didn't have so much a question. I mean, I think we've tried to drive home the point that basically they're pushing on the rates to the customers. They're pushing double of what RCAC recommends. And that's going to hurt a lot of people, you know. And that's, you know, so why did we have the report done, right? You know, and it took we waited patiently for like a year for that. You know, and it's like. Well, yeah. But, you know, basically, it's just, but you did really good. Well, I mean, I wonder, I can't even see what I got on here for battery. it doesn't even show battery when you're streaming. You're like in the dark on what your battery is. But I mean, if I go by time, I should have about 2 hours. I go by time. I can't pause it, unfortunately. And if I turn it off, there's 11 people watching right now, and they're following. Yeah, say hello if you like. I mean,
Hi, everybody.
bless your heart. Bless your heart. Right on. Cool. Because yeah, I may need to plug into that stuff for too long. I mean, this thing could be another 3-hour deal here. Hi, Devin.
Good to see you.
I'm hanging in there. How about you?
Hanging in here.
That's all we can do.
Oh, you know it.
All right, we're still in the rate hearing, we're gonna reopen. I thought I had two more questions here, sir. I thought you had one.
So I was just kind of going off of this young lady's question that wasn't really being answered, and a little bit of Debbie's question that was up here. We understand that we need upgrades. Everybody's on board with that. And I don't think any of us have a problem with the rate increase or the budget if we had an exact description of what's taking place. But wait.
Oh, sorry. Please.
So,
No, sorry.
so the issue is, when Debbie asked how much is the pump at Maggie Mine, she was told a lot. How can you build a budget for yourselves if you don't have quotes from contractors currently?
So, and I appreciate that. No, please just give me a second.
I would actually like, Sean, right? I would appreciate you to answer.
No, but if you give me a second.
So, listen, yesterday I spoke with the accountant, right? So I was asking them, because when you guys talked about that stuff, I was like, that kind of makes sense, I would want more
transparency.
Okay, transparency, you don't want to say that word, but we want to get into the minutia about, hey, if I have a project, what is all those numbers? Now, the way that Alicia has it set up, she gives her specific, they call them buckets in their language, right? So, all this, I don't know if it's maintenance or whatever they call their bucket, is into this big number, right? So when she said big number, it's this. When I ask the accountant for specific, like small itemized stuff, they have that in the general ledger. So, but if we don't want to.
No, I recall, go ahead, sorry.
So in the general ledger, it has every itemized thing. And we're getting better at this because, yes, so what you talked about is why I asked these questions. So thank you. But it's all there in the general ledger, but I hate asking the accountant to go back and waste, and not waste, but like we're paying an accountant. And if I have to go back into the minutia about with her, we need that time, we need that, all that stuff.
Correct.
But it's there. So for when the audit comes up, all of it's covered underneath that. Trust me, they're gonna go through there with the fucking comb, what's this all about?
So, but the point is, if you could provide the quotes to the public of what the repairs are going to be in their quotes, we understand that there can be estimates or quotes, and there is a difference. An estimate means it can change, and a quote is hard number. So I've run a lot of contracts, and most quotes you can ask a contractor to give you either a 90-day or 30 days, whatever. They're going to give you a set. This quote is good for this time. But to just tell us a lot is pretty rude, and it's almost like a slap in our face.
So I like what you said, it's all good stuff, but this is actually for my budget.
But it kind of goes back and forth because you need the rate increase to pay, that you're trying to do the rate increase to get the money for these projects. So this is about rate increase.
So you can take
But where's the money really
I
going?
recognize it, I actually listened to it anyways because I was like, I'm gonna hear what you got to say. But why I keep on saying that is just because I need to get rid of this. This can't be a $5 thing again. We gotta get through these things. We all know what.
Well, we're pretty, I think everybody here is confident we all know how you're voting. We just want some justification.
And I and honestly, I want transparency. I don't want to be perceived as not being. And think that you know that. So, trust me, I'm gonna do my darndest to get that transparency at a high level in your eyes. In my eyes, I feel like I'm being transparent, but that's probably because I'm on the inside looking at that stuff. And I get that, and I'm gonna try to do my darndest to get that done, so.
I don't know.
But I think I need to add to that as well. No, this is important, and you may not want to listen, but.
You can sit on my cooler and not have it.
So, we had a lengthy conversation, and Sean was present with the CPA yesterday. The district has never had a very large general ledger. Everything was kind of put into one pot. So, well, into pots, not enough pots. There were not enough pots to adequately indicate where all the money was going. For example, we could not have told you what the cost of maintaining just one well site was, because there were no records that said, Oasis well, and here are the issues we've had and what it's cost for us to repair it. That was not done. Alicia has already started spreadsheets, and I think she brought that to the meeting on Tuesday, right? And on it had different,
She did.
did she?
I have it.
Right, and so, did you see that? So, we are doing that, and a part of it, and we are working with the CPA to extend the general ledger, so when these reports are printed, it's more obvious, because right now, some things just show up, like janitorial, I think she said janitorial and.
I think I get this point. So we'll put it on one of the next meetings to put that, like maybe something on the website that has like, hey, these are the quotes coming up. Is that something you may be looking into?
That would be good, because that gives us an understanding of how the money is being spent.
Right.
And
That's what I want to know.
How and why.
So we can do that. We'll put it on a future agenda item. Thank you.
And I believe there is already a link on the website.
Good luck with
for
that.
projects.
We'll just go a step further, maybe.
She'll overload the plate and never get to it.
Outline it for you.
Yeah, with I understand, being in contracting, that numbers are subject to change, but at least if we have some base numbers to build off of,
absolutely,
then we're not freaking out when you're saying, oh, we need another 100,000 for this, or oh, we're going to move this money over here because of that.
Right.
And people start wanting to say that gets questionable, right? When you're moving money, they start questioning the legality.
You guys want an outline of what's going down. I got it.
We get you. We understand. That's reasonable.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. All right, ma'am. Oh, you're right. You have a question?
I do have a question, and it does have to do with both, because one coincides with the other. I reworked the budget myself, because I am qualified to do that. And I found that if you do not do a rate increase, and you reallocate some money and reduce some things in this current budget, you could still have $15,000 surplus by getting rid of 2 office staff, rehiring a true office manager for $70,000. Yes, Elaine? Yes.
I mean, maybe not.
But you cannot have a CPA doing bookkeeping job. An office manager would do that. What?
I have a degree in accounting.
Huh?
I have a degree in
Then why
accounting.
don't you do it?
Because you have to, because.
Bookkeeper, so we have $30,000 a year to spend.
She's on a temporary contract, first of all.
Right.
All right? And one person absolutely did not work in that
Yes,
office.
it can.
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
Absolutely.
We need to go back to the budget.
This one's really
We're
important.
saying she doesn't want to hear that she's shutting us down.
Right, we're not on the budget.
My paper on there, complicated.
Which agenda? I thought we were on the rate schedule.
We are on the rate schedule.
Can we,
But I want to hear her because she's got great ideas.
but yeah, she's good.
77-year-old lady.
She's good knowledge. I think so, yeah.
What's funny?
I just,
Did somebody tell a joke?
Hello?
That's not a joke.
I hear you.
Very disrespectful.
So some 70-year-old lady can do it, We've got 2 girls in the office right now that can't seem to do it. Find somebody that can.
Thank you, Sharon.
There was a lady in this room that actually did billing about 2 years ago and had 0 mistakes with billing. And she's in this room somewhere. 0 mistakes, 0 billing
So
mistakes.
we're gonna, if there's any other questions on the rate fee schedule, now's the time. Yes, ma'am.
Just one.
Yes.
I know Sean mentioned a temporary, we could always look back next year. What about some kind of temporary rate increase, like for the year? Not a rate increase, but a temporary fund to put that in, so we can then relook at it next year when there's a budget to see, so it's not a permanent rate increase. Because we all know that they don't go back down. I mean, once a rate is raised, it's not go back down. What if there was just a temporary charge, like, I mean, I understand the capital improvement fund, I get that. But like a temporary charge to fund the projects that need to be done this year. And then we take a look at it again next year.
You should give them the money to spend it, and it wouldn't have to happen. They would reallocate.
It's not their money, they don't care.
Right.
I think the board is taking that one under advisement. Thank you for your question. All right, I'm going to do one more pass, and then we're going to close this, and we're going to move to the budget. Anything else on rates and fees? All right.
Rates and fees, or?
Tom, you got one on rates and fees?
Well, I guess, okay, I have a question about how you guys came about and derived your commercial rates, fee schedule. Some things are like quadruple. If you look on there, you read it off, right, Sean? And I mean, yeah, some things are quadruple, double. Just wondering what reasoning, was used or logic, with that situation. We can go back to that. I mean, here I could read.
So, correct me if I'm wrong on the security deposit, but so what happens is, people we get bills every month, we're part of the employee.
Yeah.
We have bills, all that stuff. We have a large amount of people that don't pay the bills, so it's like, where are you gonna get this money from? How are we gonna pay the bills if no one's paying the bills?
So you collect the money that they owe, don't you? I mean, don't you get the money that they owe? But I'm just wondering about, a lot of questions, okay, commercial service, application fee, more than double, okay, 100 to 250. I'm just curious, what was the reasoning or why,
Let's go line items. So
there we go.
One so I can try to figure it out.
Yeah, just wondering what the reasoning is behind it. And so, so commercial service. Application fee, new service fee.
Okay.
So raised from current 100 to 250.
Right.
So it's more than doubled. Just wondering what is the reasoning, or how did you arrive at that?
First of all, we looked at a number of other districts comparable to Black Canyon City to see where they were and to get an idea of how, in fact, not only did we research them, but we called several and talked to people at other rural water districts to see how they determined some of their fees. And so one of the things we got stuck on was the meter fee, because if you look at the meter fee in the larger size, like 5/8 inch, that's standard. But if you go from a 1, 2 to a 3 inch, those were all quite a bit more, and that's because they.
So that has to do with application fee.
The work in getting these accounts together now, it takes a lot of work. It takes more administrative time.
Sounds like a lot of double talk. It really does.
Politician.
Okay.
The security deposit, the refundable part, the reason we increased that, because when someone leaves, and if they leave suddenly and don't pay their bill, then $250 is much more likely to cover their bill than $100. And we have a lot of people who leave with bills that are $300 or $400. You may not realize that, and we We can't do anything about that. They backed up.
You can go to the title company upon sale of their home if they sell it out.
A lien, right, or something.
Lien, yeah, go to the title company.
But anyhow, we could move on. We don't have to dwell on that one. So like next, now we're security deposit, okay? That's the next one here I'm just looking at. So that went from 100 to 500. So are we like, just...
Because commercial accounts have a larger water bill. They use more
they're
water,
paying more.
hence they have a larger bill.
Right, so they pay more money, they bring in more revenue,
They get the money
okay?
back.
Then you can't spend it.
Yeah,
So why
that's
don't you
right.
raise it that high?
Okay, they get the money back, security deposit, okay.
To get that back.
If they don't
It's for
pay it-
outstanding
If they
bills.
don't pay it, and there's a lot, they pay more a month, and say that they don't pay that last one, how are we gonna cover it if they have the same as a residential?
Okay,
$100
and,
gonna cover someone that has a
You don't
$1,000
have
bill?
800 users that aren't paying their bill.
What is it? I'm sorry.
You don't have 800 users that aren't paying.
Yeah,
their
what's
bill.
the average
Putting
of
the
users
money
not paying their
into a
monthly
general
bill on a consistent basis?
is that,
Tom, do you have any?
I do, I mean, just more questions on this, and then I would also like to read objections to the proposed rate increase. But since we're still on the rate schedule here, so we're taking, let's see, the next one here. Okay, raising it $2,000 to $3,050 for the impact development fee, basically for a new customer. So that looks maybe reasonable, I guess, and not too much with that. Meter installation, current, but just based on meter size, what does that mean for proposed? So it says 500 current, but what does proposed and then based on meter size? I mean, does that just mean you're leaving it the same? Leaving it?
Yeah, it's the same.
I mean-
Based on the meter size, so you know the two sizes we have, they're actually just like, one spot.
What?
They're a third size for like.
Yeah, I don't remember
There's
what they
five
were
inches,
actually,
one-
but
It went into 2 inch and 3 inch.
Oh, it's four, okay.
I'm not supposed to even be doing this stuff, but okay, anyhow. You guys probably prefer me not to be here too, I'm sorry. But just very concerned, greatly concerned. But, okay, so we have, now is this here again? It's like security, what was the other one? Well, security deposit 100 to 500. But that was, so it's just listed twice. Commercial.
One's commercial.
New. Oh.
Commercial new.
All right, okay, so, and it's basically the same. Okay, so, but I guess beyond the commercial and like service connection, okay, 350 to 500, I guess that's reasonable, and application fee 100 to 300. And so this is going to bring, a little bit of new revenue. It's not like you have a lot of new customers coming in all the time, and this is like a big part of the revenue that needs to be brought in to cover expenses and everything. But again, I guess the real concern is that we waited a long time. When I was on this board for a year and 4 months, and I had to leave because of my health and because of the chair. I had to leave, okay? I couldn't take it. I couldn't do it anymore. My heart, whatever. I don't want to get into that, any of that, okay? It's not going to cry baby about it. But basically, we waited a long time for the RCAC report. And lo and behold, we got the report. And we had a meeting, and it was my last meeting. Right before my resignation was approved, accepted by the board. And I spoke with, the woman. I had my chance to speak and really, got it from her. CRI, I believe it was, that did the presentation. And I really just wanted to really confirm with her that they recommend the scenario 1, and that's in the area of about $12 of an increase at this time, considering that we're a low-income community and we have people on limited income, and that's all factored in. The fact, that our system is deteriorating, it's in really bad shape. They know that, they understand that, they factored all that in. And you touted it so highly, that report, and we waited. We were four months late last year on the budget because we don't have the RCAC report yet. But I don't think you need that report and a rate increase recommendations from the experts to just keep the budget in on time. But it was 4 months late. But beyond that, I have two letters I'd like to read here, and one is from Irene Brooks, and I would like to read hers first if I could. And because you're basically asking for double of what RCAC recommended, and they really, they were very good. I mean, we got that for free. I mean, we got that as a grant, kind of, through the EPA Water TA program. That's technical assistance, and they provided that. That was probably tens of thousands of dollars worth of research that they did for us. And so now we want to double what their recommendation was for our community. And it's about 3 months after they gave the report. But I guess everything just all of a sudden, new came up in the last 3 months, why we should just double what they recommended. But if I may read Irene Brooks, basically this is an objection letter, objection to the proposed rate increase. And Irene served on the board for about 3 months. Her and her husband, actually, they moved the district office. They did the labor and they moved it and used their truck and moved that office from the old location to the new location here. And they did all that work and everything. And well, anyhow, that's how much they, how much she loved this district and cared to try to save us, I don't know, maybe $700, $1,000, which is, a couple hours attorney fee, legal fees or something. But you know what? That's how much they love the district. And Irene served with all her heart, and she gave everything she had. And she left because of medical reasons. Let me just say medical reasons, but I know really why she left, okay?
Read it.
But, okay, yes, let me read this, and I'm sorry to go on with this, okay? Let me read this from Irene, and this is basically, okay, I already said what it is. Everyone knows what it is. To the BCCWID board members, this email is my formal objection to your rate increase proposal, which is twice the amount. This email, recommended by RCAC, who completed their formal professional analysis of BCCWID's rates, our community's median household income, and the condition of our infrastructure. They were well aware of the aging infrastructure when they wrote the report. You need to be honest about the capital improvement funds the owners' users pay each month. You've been using those funds for operating expenses, in quotation, okay, operating expenses, including paying Bill Whittington's firm to review your agendas, help you state motions in meetings, attend every board meeting, which now seem to occur more than once per month, and advise you on an ongoing basis, paying a CPA to write checks, create the budget, advise the board on rate increases, paying an unlicensed, non-certified individual to read meters and repair leaks at $15,000 a month, and paying another contractor in Tucson who is licensed and certified,
let Tom finish, please.
$2,500 per month to pay another contractor in Tucson. This is basically like for field operations and keeping the field operations going. Who is licensed and certified? $2,500 a month to oversee the inexperienced person, spending money to make and break contracts with Lisa Chandler, Bob Honus, Jerry Postema, Derek Scott, and Julie Owings, paying $6,000 to a criminal attorney, and who knows how much more before the matter is resolved, because it was easier to cut locks at well sites instead of handling matters like a professional. Vincent, this is for Vincent Altrui-Y, our new board member that is not appearing at meetings apparently, or unable. Vincent, you stated on the phone that you think it's important to have money as a cushion for costly repairs. Please do your homework and listen to the meeting videos, read minutes, and review financial reports, so you will see that there would be a cushion if the capital fund money we pay each month had been deposited in the capital improvement fund. When the board stops wasting money, trims expenses, fixes broken meters, is able to determine true revenue, and creates a plan prioritizing projects, then come to the owner users with factual information. Thank you, Irene Brooks. God bless you, Irene. God bless you, Irene.
And that's why they need more money.
Yeah. Thank you for your comment, Tom.
Okay, and I have another one, and if you think maybe there should be a little buffer, I just mind that I'd like to read, but I can wait.
Yeah, can we wait till next year?
That's fine. I mean, if they're gonna vote right now, I wanna reach.
We're not voting until after the budget year.
Not voting on the rate increase. Okay, because I would like, this is kind of to the board, my letter.
And so again, we're
yes, it's well to wait, yes.
We're going to open the
Thank
budget
you.
one, and there's going to be public comment if you'd like to speak.
Thank you, I appreciate all the time. I do.
If you'd like to read it.
I think I do. It means me from a user, and as an owner user, this is my official objection of adopting the proposed 26-27 budget, and my official objection of adopting the proposed rate and schedule changes, both published and on the website. The board is not currently educated enough on the budget or rate increases to effectively make a decision.
Thank you, Lori. And just for the minutes, could you state who that's from?
I don't know.
Me.
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
Debbie Oliver?
Yes.
Yeah.
Debbie Oliver.
Okay.
I didn't know if you wanted me to say it. That's why I didn't say it.
All right, guys, I think that does it for questions of the rate and fee hearing. So we're going to close the rate and fee hearing. We're going to open up the budget hearing, okay? And so before we get to questions, we got to start with 4A. So moving from the agenda, if you go back to the agenda, we just closed, we just did 3C. We're going to 4A now, okay? And so just like Sean did with the rates and fees, whoever feels comfortable, Sean or Elaine, you're going to do that same thing. We're going to walk through the budget. We're going to move on to 4B, which is your guys' opportunity to ask questions. Okay, the board would like to proceed with public comment. Again, I think, are there copies of the budget over there? Yeah, so there's copies of the budget over there if you'd like to see it. And we'll do the same thing. We're going to start on this side and work our way through.
Now, I know this has to do with the budget, but can we bring in May also? Questions that.
Well, you can use your time for whatever you'd like. The board can only respond to the budget.
I'm going to ask the same questions I asked a minute ago that didn't be answered. Hopefully today they will be answered.
If it's related to the budget, we can answer it. Otherwise,
Is it related, it's related to the budget because we have numbers here from last year.
Let's hear your question.
Okay, here's my question. Page 1 of the 13-page general operating fund cash flow versus whatever 13 pages that half the town doesn't even know how to read. Halfway down, where it says actual revenues, it says $482. How do you explain $482 in revenues?
we cannot, and that's not a question that we can answer. That would be for, we're not looking at that report, and so the question should not be answered, but
Yeah, ma'am, what I would ask you is the board will take that advice, but we can add it to a future agenda. If you show up at the next meeting.
oh, well.
I know we have this on the website.
Yeah, that's the way it's from the website.
Yeah.
So that makes me question. So on this front page, it budget by $270,000 on collections. So you're proposing to raise collections up to 800-some thousand, correct? Is that what the budget shows? What's the budget show? 832. Line total revenue is $832,000. So you're raising it by $30,000, correct?
The approved 2026 budget was that 622 number.
The 805 budget number?
Yeah, let's look right next to it. That was the approved already, we're raising up more than that, actually.
Yeah, so if you look at the top of this table, you can see the 9 months actuals. So that third column, that's the approved from last year. So the last year's approved was 622,250.
This paper that came out online in May says that the budget was 805 in revenue.
Yeah, I don't think
That's a $400,000 difference.
That's another question because it could well be that there's something missing from that picture.
That's why we need now.
Thank you for your question.
Can we know why the, hello?
All right, guys, let's keep up. Frank, do you have any?
Yeah, so basically I reran your budget and reran Natalie's budget. And you gotta remember, Natalie is not part of this community. Natalie is a paid person. She wants as much as she can get. You know, she could care less about any of us. It's a paycheck. So, they took operations and dropped it down to 200,000. You might want to review as I talk so you know what I'm talking about. You're proposing 225. If you drop that down to 200,000, which I think is very doable, and then you go on down and you drop down legal fees to 30 grand a year because the prior board did not need to have an attorney present every single meeting on all the time. These meetings can be done without an attorney at every single meeting.
And to not have the all-important accountant here for this meeting or the last meeting. But you know what I mean? That's.
If you drop that down to 30,000, there's another 70 grand that you're saving. Then you move on down to auditing fees. Keep that in there because you do need an auditor. I don't believe it would cost 15 grand, but we'll keep it there. I'm an accountant, okay? I know, so you can roll your eyes if you want, but I do understand. Okay, bookkeeping fees for 35,000. Again, that's Natalie. We supposedly have somebody in the office that has a degree in accounting. Get rid of $35,000 and have who we're paying already to do that. That's called bookkeeping. You can hire somebody off the street for $18 an hour and they can do bookkeeping. It's simple. That's simple.
Very simple.
Okay. Then we move on to page 2 here. Travel expenses. There is no one on this board that should get travel expenses.
Yeah, what is that?
There's no one going anywhere.
Personal gas station.
Yeah, you work here, you work for us here. You don't need to travel. If you travel, make a phone call and say you travel.
Expenses in my job.
Well, that gets rid of $1,500. Then we move on down to computer software and supplies, which I don't even know what that consists of because you also have, you also have,
Web hosting.
what was that, 370? Well, anyway, you can drop that down to about 5 grand. This is a very tiny office. You guys have spent more on office supplies than I've spent in my office that has 15 people working in it, and we're a multi-million-dollar company.
Yep.
So I don't know where you conjured these numbers up from. So let's drop that down to 5 grand. Okay, and that's still being generous. Payroll expenses, like I said, You ixnay a couple of people in that office, pay them $70,000 to do what Natalie's doing. What? Temporary. I said ixnay both of them. Yeah, temporary, meaning you can go, okay. And again, maintenance and repairs on the facility, $3,500. Cut that off. That is a rented office. You do not need any more maintenance. Nothing. This is not, Elaine, this is not your personal office.
She doesn't believe that.
Even though, what other board member ever said in an office? From the, did any of them? No. They did not. So ixnay that. Okay, you can leave on internet, we all need internet, and you can leave electricity. Miscellaneous expenses, $3,000. Explain what goes in miscellaneous expenses that has not already been budgeted prior. That's my question.
Yeah, what is that?
Sean, I think we can both speak to that. It was, remember how Natalie was talking about the buckets in our general ledger account does not have enough buckets, and some things are thrown into one bucket because there aren't specific.
So, regardless of course of the general ledger, there's some things that don't have a specific.
Your chart of accounts. It's not the general ledger. It's the chart of accounts.
General ledger.
There you go. I think I'm a little bit more educated than you are, so. What's that?
So I think your question is for some more detail on what's in that.
Yeah, what's in the miscellaneous?
Okay, so.
Instead of a lump sum bucket.
That would be a Natalie question, because she would have to.
Why is she not here? Paying $30,000 a year for the accountant not to be here for the budget rate meeting. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Go to the office, get the BMO account statements.
Debbie, please.
Go ahead, Elaine, let's get the BMO statement.
Please carry on, Debbie, because you are so spot on.
If you were to make these adjustments that I just said, you would have $0 in a rate increase. Zero.
Right.
You would not have $832,000 as a proposed budget.
Right.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Or you would be fixing the infrastructure with the rate increase. Then you would get to the infrastructure.
I didn't get an answer though on what's in miscellaneous.
Well, I think the concern, I was going to
Sean, you want to answer it?
Okay, I think it was that, and I'll try to do something, but there's all these different line items here, and then there has to be sort of a catch-all for all those. It doesn't fit in any of those, so it's got to go somewhere else. Again, I don't know like the specifics on what goes in there, but I'd also just keep in mind that approval of these budgets is not a commitment to spend that money.
Correct. However,
But it happens.
You are supposed to try to stay within budget, and clearly by May, we went over budget $393,000 for the year.
Wow.
That's what Natalie
Alicia had to leave because there's a fire near her home. But she would tell you, if she was in the conversation with this team meeting on accounting, and you can only put out the information that you
She
have.
lives up north.
So,
Natalie has
She lives up north.
Alicia and is going to work with Natalie to identify how to expand and have more detail on the bookkeeping. Because all we did was start with what we had. And it actually increased quite a bit when the CPA got it, because the former district put everything into like 5 buckets and didn't know what was hot. But this district is trying to put everything in the correct bucket, the bucket that item belongs in. And part of that is to be able to even differentiate how much it's costing to repair, all of the different
Right.
lights.
So what you're saying is, rather than a 13-page report that 90% of the people cannot read or understand, you're going to make even more detailed and make it a 20-page report, when really, all you have to do is an income statement that is 1 page long, 1 page. I have requested a balance sheet. I would like a depreciation schedule. I would like a schedule of debt. I don't have any of that.
That's
Natalie,
record.
do you mean to tell me
Let's see the
Natalie
BMO
does not
statements.
do that
Checks
every
written.
month?
I'm just
Are
saying.
you looking for
So
Where do we
Natalie
get that
does do that every month. She sends out a balance
Just
sheet.
go to the office, get the BMO statements.
Again, you need a records request.
Just walk over to the office, get the BMO statements, bank statements.
I am looking at.
Public records request.
Just let's see the checks that you
I am
get.
looking for an income statement and a balance sheet.
Right there.
It's
Walking
legible,
distance.
not actual versus budget, not
What's the
13
secret
pages
sauce?
of this and that. I want a list.
Obviously, you have something of background in this, and, well, I'm willing to sit down with her and talk.
No, that means we don't want that.
Hello?
But you,
Even though I'm willing, I still have to abide by the rules of it. That's all she's saying. She's giving me caution because sometimes I get too like, yeah, let's get this done, but I don't want to catch myself in
But
something
you're-
else to be doing.
but you're saying that Alicia is going to talk to the accountant. What background does Alicia have in accounting to know what questions to ask the
We're
CPA?
not going over district personnel, we're talking about numbers for the budget.
Now, we need to know that.
So we can, put that on the agenda, put that on the agenda and go over it. We're just gonna stick over.
Right.
Yeah, she'll leave her on the agenda plate for you.
Yes, I have a whole bunch of questions, but none can be answered.
So the board, Barbara wrote that down, we can take that into advisement.
Well, here, Barbara, I got 3 pages of questions that you could take under advisement.
Okay. I'm going to skip, yes, ma'am.
All right, so, I have a question.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie.
So, I also looked at the May report, and then there was 13 disbursements on there that apparently are checks to pay invoices.
Can you start that first part again, please? Sorry.
So I also went over the May financial report, and there's 13 disbursements on there. One to the bookkeeper for $7,000. But also, like, so why is the treasurer not writing the checks? So I thought in an organization that has a treasurer, like, what is her role? If she's like, so I thought that invoices would come to the board would approve, and the treasurer would write the checks.
Right.
What do you think?
The board can decide however we want to
That's
do
a
that.
policy decision, but again, not exactly related to the budget.
It is the budget.
Can I ask the board a question? How many signatures are required on a check?
Yeah.
2, there's usually only 1, please.
They just circumventing that with the credit card, and then there's no signatures required on checks.
Debit card,
Whatever.
debit card gives you around it.
It's not there on that website. It's best practice.
Whoever is available to sign.
So there's no, but that's the one people
Yeah, so if you want to get around
If you look at the specific roles of each board member, they are quite outdated, and the board has been discussing them. For example, the secretary, Mr. Tom was the board secretary. Tom should have been taking meeting minutes and transcribing them, and that didn't happen.
No, when we ran for the board, you said I wouldn't need to do that, and nobody ever did before, no other secretary, and that would all be taken care of. So don't lie. Don't lie to the community here. Okay? That ain't gonna fly.
I said that was the role.
No.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're getting a short term to this question.
Yeah, because,
So I'm saying, like, I don't, what if?
no, I recorded the meetings, and I posted the meetings timely, and that's even better than vague minutes.
I want to try to keep it.
Okay, I'm sorry for that, but
So what is Melina's role?
she's calling me out.
Melina, what can you tell me what your role is?
What
Well, when I first came on, Lisa was very nice to me and helpful, and she showed me how things were done. So I got to present the board report a couple of times, and then Natalie came on board, and I was cut out. Natalie's handling that. Don't worry about it. Natalie's doing all that.
Yeah.
I make my concerns known to a certain Whittington who took my concerns and made them available to the rest of the board members. No one ever spoke to me about my concerns. Okay? So I sat there, quiet as a mouse, for all that time. I'm gonna lose myself.
You're doing okay.
Yes, you're doing fine. We're with you here. We're with you, Melina. You're the one person we trust right now on this board.
So, where was I?
Oh, you're okay.
Your duties.
You're being stonewalled, right? By Elaine. You're not allowed to talk to the accountant.
I got a thing back from Mr. Whittington saying, well, I'm not really going to address your concerns, but I am going to spell your name wrong, and I want you to use the policy and procedure manuals that are there. He said, we have created a new policy and procedure manual for you, but y'all never voted on it, and we've had it since August of 2025, by the way. And it's the only document that I have discovered where other board members are protected from this kind of behavior. So I wonder why she hasn't.
Oh, the bylaws. Right. Because policy and procedures
Back to the
is a wish list.
What was the question?
Yes, again, your question is about the board roles, not about the proposed budget. That's our point. So I understand.
My role is supposed to be
Melina? Yes, let's hear Melina.
The question is about Melina's role. That is not related to the budget.
Why are we paying a bookkeeper, CPA, to write checks? And we have a possibility of a board member to write those checks. That's my question.
Let's see the checks.
Yeah, where's the payroll?
Because often getting Melina to come in and sign checks was pretty difficult.
It is not. I am home all day. I am available every night, every day except Wednesday evenings, and she is well aware of that fact. All she has to do is call me. I told Lisa, I told Julie, I said, when the checks are ready, call me. I'm here in 5 minutes. I was ready, willing, and able. They never call. They never call. I haven't signed a check. I think the last check I signed was at the beginning of April.
Treasurer.
I have a really detailed list of what I signed and where it went and what it was for and how much it was. I don't get that now.
Ma'am, would you like the...
Treasurer Melina, I have seen you circumvented by this chair.
The policy does not specifically state that only the treasurer can sign checks. It's up to the discretion of the board.
And it's a great way around it.
I'm not talking about signing checks, I'm talking about writing checks.
We don't write checks. What we pay bills. Invoices come from the CPA. She takes the invoices, she sends us the invoices, and the checks are kind of made out in a format. She sends them to not to me, she sends them to the office. The people in the office, that would be Barbara and Alicia, now puts it on a spreadsheet. They print out the invoices the checks are going to pay, and then they can look at the check online to make sure everything is in order, and then we have checks in the office, we put it in the printer, and we print the checks. And then we attach the invoice to the check, and send the check and keep the stub on the invoice so we see that it's been paid.
So what are we paying her for?
Are there handwritten checks?
So why are we paying her to do that?
Are there handwritten checks?
This is a government entity, all right? It is not like working at a regular office. And there are requirements that we have to follow. There are accounting requirements. There are accounting specific things And when you have an office, when we had Sarah that left, well, she was supposed to train her bookkeeper. Well, we don't know if that was successful or not, because learning how to run an office that has so many other factors that have to be considered is not that easy. And then when Lisa left, we had someone else come on. Well, then again, you're having to retrain somebody in all these processes that are pretty challenging. So you have one person office and that person.
Need to trim the bike.
How do you train
Need to trim the bike.
It is much easier to have the CPA do it. So if somebody calls in sick, if somebody leaves suddenly, which has happened, people have left their keys on the counter and said, I'm gone, that's it. And we're left with no one in the office. So having a CPA to do all of the things that it would take so long to train someone for that we can't afford to mess up on is not, when you take the $96,000 that Sarah got paid and the $80-some-odd dollars and what after that got paid, we can hire, and the CPA confirmed this, we can hire 2 people in the office as employees and not contract workers, and pay monthly and still be saving money. And this way,
Thank you very much.
She just lied though, she just lied.
She's been driving out all week.
When you spout out that Sarah got $98,000, mind you, everyone, Sarah paid the rent, the electricity.
Yeah, she did everything.
Everything.
She did the work. She didn't need any of these other people. Yep,
She did not make $98,000.
not even close. Not even close.
Sir, I think you don't have any questions. I think you're right.
Okay, so I have a proposed budget question now. I have a background in economic finance. I could pick apart this budget like crazy, but that lady up front did an amazing job. Okay? I just want to go through some big stuff. Again, no offense to you, Devin, but I know Devin and Billy are getting proposed $135,000 in legal fees. Well, that's what it says here.
$135,000 was last year.
Okay, last year.
It's probably going up.
Oh, so last year was, okay, so that's $135,000. Now, I also have a background in environmental sciences. I don't know how many folk here know, but we're downstream from the EPA Superfund site. And I would rather see that $100,000 go to changing out the media filters so that us and the children of Black Canyon City do not come down with cancer. This could be a huge thing. Arsenic is known, and lead, zinc, all those. We have mining all over the place, but the EPA Superfund site is right upstream, the Aqua-Free River, where we get our water from. Let's spend the money in better areas to make the children of Black Canyon City, the future, safe and healthy. Let's do that.
Let's work on the system. Let's work on the system.
Thank you for your comments. And we're going to keep moving this way, but we'll wrap back around, okay? Yes, ma'am.
I only have one thing to say. I get up at 2:30 in the morning and I just oppose this entire budget hike.
Oh, boy.
I'm just too tired. This is just too much of a shit show. I just can't do this anymore. So my vote is I'm against the hike.
I'm against it.
I'm against it.
Against it.
Everybody against it, raise your hand. They don't care.
Double is not fair. Double is not fair.
Any other questions on this side of the room?
Oh.
Ma'am in the back, it's your turn.
Well, I'm going to go back to this whole $100,000 attorney fees that we are paying, but you're representing the board only. How is that legal? You're an attorney.
That's a fiduciary duty. That's
Do we have to hire our own attorney and charge you guys?
Yeah.
Is that
Our
what
ethical
we do?
rules
Why
are-
are we paying
For
for
you
you to be here? I want to
represent
know.
them.
Because she never learned how to conduct a meeting without an attorney present.
Clear up all the lanes, mismanagement.
If I can certainly respond to that first part. Again, our ethical rules as attorneys require, and they state
Okay,
very
so
clearly,
everybody got
we
your
do not
questions, we have to get
represent
our
the
own
public.
attorney.
Yeah, again, we do not represent the board members as individuals.
Well,
We
the
don't
way
represent
it's
the
going,
public.
so when we get our water bill, we can just subtract, attorney fees and.
Capital improvement fees, sales
Because
tax. Not being
we're not
permitted.
getting answers. Like, I was here 2 nights ago. There were some really good suggestions. Smart people. We are smart. Very smart. Nobody listened up there. Not one
Meetings are supposed to
question
be at
was,
6 o'clock. and-
not one question was answered.
Yep.
So are we angry?
Yep.
Why do you think we're angry? Can you guys just be like transparent and apologize for putting us in this situation? And say, let's work together, let's figure this out together. We don't even get a vote. You guys are all gonna vote, and we're sitting here paying all the fees.
Yep.
Right. Like, how does that make sense?
The public's voice is through the election process. This is your elected
Oh, yeah.
board. It's election season.
But are they gonna listen? Because nobody listened. Nobody listened the other night. Nobody. We got bullied.
Yep.
We were told to shut up. We were told to, oh, Natalie isn't here.
Yep.
Well, why
Conveniently,
is Natalie not
yes.
at these budget meetings?
Open your
Why are we
ears.
paying her and she's not at these
Here.
meetings?
Why is she
And we are
ignoring us?
suffering. We are all suffering because of up there. And you want us to pay double our water bill, so we have no transparency. We have,
Just say you
don't tell me
tried,
this is a budget because
say you tried paying attention and say you're stepping away.
Sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
That's it.
like, we are angry. And nobody helped us 2 nights ago. Nobody answered questions. Nobody. Nobody made us feel better about why we have to pay more.
I'll pay more for a forensic accountant. Internal auditing.
Ma'am, do you have a question?
Yeah, when is an audit gonna happen? Or is it gonna be a forensic audit like that lady was
Too late.
presenting the smartest thing in the world?
I offer my
We
services
need-
for free.
Oh,
Okay.
Here.
But I was told today that it cost me 50 cents a sheet. Well,
says who?
We're paying for it, so.
no, I have to pay for it.
And $15 an hour for the office work.
The shade.
Yeah, but if I can get that information, I will gladly do a forensic audit.
Yeah, public records requests. We'll all chip in. Hey, yeah, we'll all chip in on that. Public records requests.
The district is required to do a financial review every year.
By who? Now,
No, not by that. It's an independent.
Greg, will you, hey Greg, will you man up and will you step up and talk about how they're late on the very law that Elaine got put in? No, you didn't, not about the law that Elaine got put in, and now she's the one that's got the board in out of compliance with the law.
Well, I think
Bring it up again. Speak up. You had a good thing there. You had a good thing.
That's what the district has. I think I saw a question here. I didn't see anything else on this side. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is still on the line 16703 legal fees. And I see that your proposed budget is a little less than the existing budget. But there again, I would like to see line item expenses on the...
Guys, I can't hear the question.
Hey! I'd like to see... I would like
Thank you for coming.
to see some line items on what the legal fees were spent on, because I have a question if it was just consulting fees, or are we paying for Elaine's problems that she has out in the public? I want to see an accounting for it. I want to see line item for it.
Right. You guys take your.
I'll make a call to the city bar association.
Well, you're not paying our office. That's all.
Okay.
Oh,
But
without paying your
the criminal attorney,
the, all that stuff. We are paying for her mistakes.
Right.
And that's just.
Bad decision that day.
Accident. Who's gonna pay for that? There's only $100,000 in the budget for an attorney. We've already eaten up $6,000 of it just in May. Well, no, I guess this is the new year, fiscal year. But, well, we've already eaten up whatever you're charging, and the other night, that guy. And you said the other night that this hasn't even ended yet with the cutting of the logs. So, how do you get only $100,000 in attorney fees whenever you're gonna have a guy sit here at every single meeting, and you're gonna have a criminal defense attorney, and you're gonna have your accident attorney?
Wow. Yeah, we can't afford all that.
Your job is checking meters.
We can't afford all that. Right?
The budget?
Well, you know, but it's kind of like being upset about them wanting to raise double what's been recommended by the people that we had do this research and everything. And having the money thrown away and having the money used for things that, you know what I mean? It's not, none of it's going to our infrastructure, you know? They'll claim it will go to our infrastructure, but no, because she's wasting so much money. And she's gonna get called. We're going to the state and the county. She's gonna get corrupted. We're good on we're golden.
I would like to see.
But I think it's gonna happen before that. She's going to
Where can I find that?
I'm sorry. Yes, Bonnie?
Yeah, so I guess you're talking about like, you know, the specifics of our invoices or something?
Yeah. Legal fees. Everything that goes into this bucket of legal fees.
Everything has to be itemized.
Yeah. So I guess I can just tell you how we do this. I mean, we bill hourly. Okay, so we track our time every 10th of an hour. So every 6 minutes we track our time. All of that goes into an itemized statement that the district gets.
Okay.
You know, often whenever we bill. But we only bill for the time we spend.
What's your hourly rate?
Hourly rate is $300 an hour.
300?
Yes, ma'am.
Travel time? How does that work?
Wait a minute.
Travel time we bill one way.
And that's $300 an hour on it for minimum?
Yes, sir.
Right. Just so we understand.
Yeah.
Thanks, Deb.
Legal team, or are there other legal?
Everybody, let Bonnie speak. She traveled 500 miles to be here from Colorado, okay? That's how much she cares about the community.
So are the legal fees, all 100,000 gonna go to your legal agency, whatever you call it?
Our firm, I
Our
believe.
firm, thank you.
Yeah, our firm, I believe that is correct. I think, and Elaine, jump in correctly, the 6,000, that's not represented in here, that's not paid to our firm.
So it's not even in the budget?
What?
Well, again, I think that was already approved and paid in last year's budget.
Excuse me.
Treasurer.
That's the information I've been trying to get.
Oh,
And if she would provide it, I could clear this whole business up
in
with
terms of,
those tapes, with recordings, whatever they are.
okay, so, yeah, I think.
From the executive meeting, from April and May.
You at the meeting minutes?
Yeah,
Okay,
the
yeah.
executive session.
Recordings, audio recordings, she's being stonewalled on. Yeah,
But I still want it.
Okay, and I think I did see that request come through, so I'm sure that's in process, but again, that.
Well, you know, she probably didn't send you that request when I got it, because she only replied to my email like 3 days later.
Thank you, Lily. We're still in the budget and here, so.
Okay.
Yep,
Anything else?
so,
Get on point.
yes, I
On
still
point.
want to know where I can find the line items for these legal fees for the past year. And you obviously don't have them yet for the proposed budget, but I'd like to see where the money's going. So where can I find that information?
She wants to see what.
Oh, yeah. Like it is here. You heard her.
Because
records request.
Public records request.
Yes.
It's very simple. I'll help you with that.
Thank you.
But it's 50 cents a page and 50
Yeah.
cents an hour.
And you know what?
Well, I made it.
Hey, we'll all chip in on this. We're all going to work together to solve this problem.
Okay, thank you for your questions, I do appreciate it. Yes, sir.
So, I just had to fly down from Preston Valley to be at the meeting, so I appreciate Tom for doing the live stream. I've been watching this the whole time.
Right on, Adam.
Kind of interesting. One of the questions I have right off the bat is fiscal year 2025, 2026, we spent, or we had budgeted for maintenance and repairs, which is one of the biggest issues that we have outside of the building right now. We've got issues with meters. We've got issues with all of the infrastructure in general, aging pipes, aging equipment, all that kind of fun stuff. We've already figured that out, which is part of the reason why the board is wanting to go with the $19 increase plus the $3 for the capital. So the question I have is why are we only allocating $3,500 for infrastructure repair and maintenance? That's one question. We've got big numbers for attorneys, for other things, but we're dropping one of the more and most essential parts of the budget, which should be the repairing of the infrastructure. This is the
Operations and maintenance?
17401, maintenance and repairs.
Oh, that's for the building, the rental.
Oh, that's just for the
Yes.
building?
Yeah, maintenance and repairs, that's 16,105.
You have a meeting, you're supposed to meet.
And so last year it was approved was 75,000. That second line.
So then why are we budgeting, so let me ask you this, why are we budgeting?
I can't hear the question.
Yeah. Why is it we're budgeting? Why is it we are budgeting so much money for maintenance and repairs for a building space that we rent? All of those fees should be handled.
Have you seen that was adopted?
Guys, if you want to hear Sean's answer, he's going to give an answer.
It was like a bunch of different stuff.
No, that was miscellaneous, Sean.
No, I know, there was something specific. Buckets here.
Yeah, buckets to this.
Can you not answer? Natalie has to answer.
Wait.
I mean, it should be, there shouldn't be paying for maintenance upkeep.
I can try to address a piece of that. Again, I would have to take a look to see what the lease says, but there are leases that exist where the tenant pays for repairs. I don't know that it's
So, I understand light bulbs, but tenant rates for water. But I just facility repair, and most standard contracts do not include the tenant coming in and fixing and replacing things that the building supplies upon time of rental.
I've rented an office space before that.
That question until we know exactly how it's detailed on the general ledger or in the chart of accounts.
So why is it that there is not a representative here tonight that can give that information? It's the job of the board to have all of the pertinent information. Regarding things such as the budget. Hold on, I'm talking.
Okay.
Especially regarding things that are involved in the budget. These are very important questions that should be able to be answered at the ready. And if you guys are not able to provide us that information, you are not doing what it is you're supposed to be doing.
You've been voted in to do.
Right.
If this is an issue, then you don't have to do what it is you're doing.
Yeah.
But when we stand up here, we're looking at a proposed budget. We all know that the water system, all of our pipes, everything is going to crap. Because things aren't getting paid for. Now, the water company has been bringing in money. The board's been up here since 2025. You guys shelved this along for 4 months, waiting on the study that we finally get. And rather than taking the recommended $11 and some change increase, we're saying we're going to double that. But you don't have the pertinent information to tell us why. That is why every person in here tonight is upset. That is why we're all here week after week, time after time, asking these questions. It would behoove the board to have the information at the ready. We appreciate the fact sheets and stuff. The first thing I did when I walked in tonight is I walked straight over to the pile of information to where I had it. There wasn't a proposed budget sheet like I had to borrow from the lovely lady next to me. Unfortunately, she had one. And I do understand that it is up on the website. I did not have a chance in the 37 seconds between my truck and here to sign into that. But the board should be able to answer basic things like, why do we need to spend $3,500 on a space that we rent? I get that's an annual budget. Like, these are the questions. There was a bunch of other questions that were asked on that I got to listen to through the live feed that were not answered. And it was shelved and shut down to the next person. And I understand if you don't have the information, you can't give it. But you guys, this isn't your first rodeo. This isn't a new horse. It's the same saddle. You jumped into it 2 nights ago. You jumped into it the week before. Everybody for the last, everybody for the last couple of years, I imagine, but for at least the last 4 meetings that I've been to, has been asking the same basic questions. And I just asked a very simple one. At first, I was asking a question about facilities maintenance. And I was not to understand that it was for the room that we rent. And I got that information at the ready.
I have more. What's that? I have more stuff once you're done. I have more information. Okay, so like yesterday, I sat down with Alicia and we sat down with Natalie on the phone because Alicia and they wrote down all the questions you guys have. Like there's a lot of good questions, like we talked about. Like there's a lot of good things they brought up. But all those have, like we talked about, it's broken down even more in the minutia. She didn't have it printed out for me. I have the general ledger, and it's broken down a little bit more. But we're talking, it's like a phone book. You know what I mean? Like every single itemized thing. Not a phone book. Without being a little bit, a little bit exaggeration. But it's more than what we're saying. I'm just trying to describe it as more than just this, right? So if you want specifics, I gotta write that kind of stuff down. I can't. If you're like, hey, so yesterday you talked to the accountant for an hour. Do you remember what this was and this for the building? Why is the maintenance like this? I'd be like, dude, I don't know that. I'm sorry if you feel like I should know that, but out of an hour conversation, I just wanted to get the grasp of how is it itemized. I don't do that. I'm not an accountant like you. I don't look at that kind of stuff. I have my own CPA for my business. I don't go in there and go do stuff. I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy, right? So. Do you want me to do that on a future agenda? Do you want me to address that piece of it? Because I can do that.
I would like to have general expenditures itemized. And I understand that's not something that's going to be able to happen right away, but yes, I would like to know what money is needed to be spent and what money is being spent on things like the infrastructure and the facilities maintenance. Why it is we're looking to budget X amount of dollars for that. And that all goes to the point that a lot of people have had here as to why, A, not voting for the highest rate increase before we as the community have all that information, it would be a good idea. And I get that we need to have a budget, we're supposed to have it in by the 10th, but nobody here has enough of an understanding based on the information that we're being given to justify and validate this stuff. So rather than voting on a budget based on a rate increase that we can't get answers to, why are we not saying, you know what, for now, we're going to vote it in and say we're going to go with the recommended and then revisit it? Because the board has the opportunity at any time to revisit budgeting.
Did you see the budget meeting that we had that was, I'm sure you probably saw this online. I know there's a few people in here that were at the meeting. They asked questions specifically like you and we had that on the phone, and we could break it all down. That's what we came up with. Like I said, I had it proposed completely different than they did, right? So mine was like 11 or 12, something we're in the middle. I wanted to do a step process. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But once they rebutted that and said, well, I see what you're saying, Sean, and that's like, obviously like a kind thing, and it would be like a little bit easier on people, but it still put us in a deficit. I know you read the number. The way that they explained it to you, and when I looked at the numbers, you look at it a different way, and you didn't see a deficit. Understandable. We can both look at something and see something different. That's fine. That's your profession. I'm not saying you're wrong. But when we looked at it, we're taking all the available information,
as best as I can read it and say, you know what, I think we do need an increase. No one's debating that we need an increase. I feel like you guys just don't feel like we're giving you enough information that make you feel comfortable.
It seems to be being hurried.
I'm talking to this specific individual because he had the floor. Go ahead.
It seems to be being hurried. And why is this at the last minute? And oh, we got a few days to get the budget in. What's up with that? It was 4 months late last year. Yeah.
Why am I on the phone?
No. Why is Natalie on the phone to answer
Because she had scheduled, other things this week.
Not paid enough.
She didn't know.
But you knew you had this meeting. Why didn't you have her scheduled? It's really inconsiderate not to have an accountant at a budget rate hearing. Really inconsiderate.
Why can't she? Maybe she should live here.
My question's about.
Okay.
Can you tell me what that budget meeting was that I could go and watch it?
It was, I would say, what, April, May? I can't be very, I had to look back and read through what the transfers were. But there is I would say between March, April, May area is when we discussed all that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you for your question.
I'm gonna try to get that up because I kind of want to like highlight the stuff because I feel like the thing of not transparency, it keeps on coming up here throughout the neighborhoods, and I'm like, all right, I gotta get this thing up so you guys can see it. Like, okay, no, it was up there. That's what we're gonna do. All right, I'm gonna put that on my agenda. All right, that's all I can say about that.
Well, I think the pictures that the board can use for the board meetings, that way we can start sketching them on the wall, where people can see this kind of stuff. Like right now, that way, when people have questions like myself that are easily answered by showing some documentation, some paperwork that we already have, that's already been published, it's real easy to just push the button and let the computer throw it up on the TV.
Absolutely. Can you say that one more time for March, right?
So I'm going to donate to the water board a projector that will hook up to a computer, hook up to a TV, hook up to anything, and that way we can start projecting during these meetings stuff like the budget on the wall behind us, any pertinent information that needs to be pulled up. Instead of the board saying, well, you'll have to go look at the website, we'll be able to pull it up. Boom, right now, bam, there it is. And that'll give people the ability to see some of this stuff because the board says or seems to think that they have information that would be pertinent to us, but they don't have it in hand all the time. So it would make things a lot easier for people to be able to see that information at the ready.
I'm gonna find out if I'm talking just like my personal opinion. I want to see if I can talk to the Natalie and see is there something I can just view only, get a live snap picture of everything. That obviously we can't manipulate because that'd be crazy if I could manipulate it, right? We wouldn't want that. But if you want something where you can go, let me look up that. I would like to do that for you, have it up there.
Yeah.
So that's something we can work on. That's not here right now. We don't have that.
Well, I know, but we do have what the board is already publishing on.
Yeah, absolutely.
The ability to be able to put up the budget right now where everybody has, hey, these are the line items. That way when someone says, I'm referencing this line item, everybody else is going, well, I don't have a paper.
No, but what you're saying is make my wheels turn and say, well, how can I make a better product for you? That's
all we want is transparency.
Absolutely.
We understand that things need to be paid for, but we want to know what we're paying for, why we're paying for it, and how much we're paying for it. And to be able to have specific information makes a huge difference. If I see on here $3,500 for facilities maintenance, which is for us to keep up a room that we're renting already, the wheels in my head start spinning and I go, well, why is this? Like I run a small business. I know that to run my small business, I got to pay for gas. I got to pay for wear and tear on my truck. Those things are all actionable line items. And I can justify that by saying, well, this is what I'm spending on this, this is what I'm spending on this, this is what I project I'm going to need to spend. But if we can't have access to that information, we're going to sit here every time and question every single thing that we can, because information is what is going to allow us to make informed decisions on this stuff. And you guys are the board, you represent us. You want to do what's best for the water district, you want to do what's best for the town. We want for you to do that. And if getting information that we can't get is going to make that big of a difference, well, then we need to do it. We can't get that information out to everybody because nobody knew until a couple of weekends ago that we were paying $300 an hour for an attorney. We just knew we were paying an attorney. Nobody knew that we were using this money for that. This is broke. We need to spend $70,000 to fix this. Like, we understand something's broke. It needs to be fixed. That's what I do for a living. I understand that better than anybody. People pay me $100 an hour to come out and fix stuff. But when I go there, I say, this is what's going to cost you. These are the materials I'm going to need. Here's your receipt. The customer can't argue with that.
Right.
You know, if I look at somebody and say, hey, you know what, I thought it was going to cost this, but this is what the receipts are telling you. This is how long you watched me do this job. This is what it now costs. They're not going to be upset. They may go, well, it sucks. I got to pay an extra $200. But they understand why. And that's the problem that we're all having right now is there's a lot of us here in this room, there's a lot of us in this town that do not understand why. If the numbers say we need $22 to make things work right, show us the numbers, show us everything that we need to make that informed decision, and then we will all be behind the board in that decision.
Okay. I'll work with you on getting a better line. Okay?
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time.
And by transparency, I think we really are talking about like the BMO bank account statements, checks written, debit card transactions. I mean, simple stuff like that. That's transparency. Right?
Yeah, I think that's in the bookkeeper's report every month. Yep. The last, what was the first? The BMO statements, I don't know if they're in there, but I believe the checks and the debit card are in there. All the transactions.
We're not even sure if that's accurate.
Yeah.
Because it gives a weird number in the very, very beginning of $452 in revenue.
What's the voice?
So how do we trust that?
Yeah.
Right.
Like if we see the actual statements, the actual checks written, then that's the actual evidence. You know?
Okay. Yeah, again, if you want to see specific documents, perhaps the public records request is an appropriate place to start.
Okay, we're going to take a recess for 5 minutes.
Can you let Molly ask a question?
While we're on track, yeah, I mean, just, she's had her hand up for a long time. She traveled 500 miles to be here. Could we just, yeah, we don't have a quorum now, but yeah, they just, so, well, we'll just, you're next. You're next. You know what, when they come back, right, Devin, when they come back, she's next.
I'm gonna go. I gotta go home. I gotta go find my phone. I lost it. But I'll be watching. You're gonna be there, right?
It's on Black Canyon bulletin board, live streaming right now.
Okay.
I'm just keeping it going.
You have it on your stuff too. But I gotta go. I got kids to feed and stuff.
Take good care. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming out. And you know.
Well, I hope they don't have it. You know, they're gonna do whatever they want.
Well, no, Melina is not on board. The other two, I don't know about babysitting. The new guy that don't even show up.
Right. And having to get on the board.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't even know if he's a homeless guy on the street, just a voice on the other end of the phone or what.
Yeah.
And we hope not, you know. Yeah, this is all. Just know that this is all being addressed. And, it was nice to meet you.
Looks like some people are even here.
Yeah, this is all being addressed right now, like all the wrongs that are happening. There's serious things going to be, she may be, before the recall, she may be hauled off in shackles. We don't know, but it's kind of in the works. Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, we have people, we have, the signatures, it's all, yeah. It's impressive. Let's say I saw Elaine's recall, and I see this one. It's impressive compared to, no, the recall Elaine did on stage 1, right? But he resigned, so it didn't come to a recall election. But he resigned before, but she won't. She's got too big of an ego.
Not only that,
she ain't stepping down. She just costing us. We just know that.
Huh?
We just know that she's costing us a bundle.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? That's all. And anything else is speculation.
Well, we appreciate the commentary.
Things are being worked on by some real high ups in the community. I mean, I'm on the bottom of the totem pole, but the people up there, the higher ups, it's happening. It's happening. We're going to be okay. This ain't going to continue. I don't think a whole lot longer.
Get rid of some high-priced things that we don't need. My weekend I were out of town and it's outrageous for it. When they were needed, all these people going around. They might have one person in the office.
Yeah, no. The thing is, it's like she's the chair of the board, and when you take that position, you actually sign an affidavit that says, I understand open meeting law, which basically means I know how to conduct a meeting. She doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't, and so that's what's costing us a bundle. I mean a bundle. So we get a chair on this board that knows how to conduct a meeting, knows open meeting law. She actually committed fraud when she signed that and said, I understand open meeting law. That's fraud. And I can't say right now, I'm not sure what to say, but they're good people. I really can't say right now. I mean, I don't want to commit anybody that hasn't openly, publicly, but you know what I mean? Things are...
She's really good.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And so she just contacted me today, and she wants to be in contact with our treasurer. And I know our treasurer is going to be very happy to be working with her.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And and she'll do the public records request, and she'll get the receipts. He's a good guy. You know what? I love this guy. That's Devin, okay? But, I mean, he even knows. It's like, Elaine's sort of like the Reagan train, you know what I mean? But Devin is a great guy. I love him. I love Bill is a good guy. Bill, he's like the head of the whole associates. It's Bill Whittington. And he's a great guy, but the thing is, they're here just doing their job, I mean? They're not coercing anyone to hire them or anything. They're here, but we shouldn't be paying this money for her to have her hand held and to be babysat. You know what I mean? And she's being babysat. And so she's playing chair, but she's playing chair, but she's not really chair material. And she's doing things that just don't make any sense at all. And so Debbie here, she's talking real good, reason. You love to hear those guys, the people that really have good knowledge and understanding. Some people they may be on the way. But I know my friends they left, they took their chairs. I mean, a lot of people, I think they're just, but you know what, so I hope that they'll do the right thing for the community, because if they don't, I think they're going to be really they're going to be sad that they didn't, and because they're going to be rejected by the community. Because only ask for what's reasonable. You know what I mean? And that's why we had this big study. We had this big study done, and all this, and then to say, well, that's not enough. We need twice as much. And it's like, well, because I think so. And it's like, how about you trim your spending? How about you show us a good faith? You know what I mean? It's like, don't reach for double. Don't reach for double what they. But They will, and Melina, they voted. She won't be behind it, she will vote for it. No, Melina is with the people. She represents the people.
I see that.
The rest of them, they're kind of just like, sort of like Lean's lapdogs, if you will. You know what I mean? I don't know the Benson guy, but I just see him. You know, and, yeah, he's let them go, but that's just, I'm like that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Right on. Oh yeah, this one is. Well, it's got 36. It's got 36%. Unfortunately, the camera won't even tell me, and I just don't want to mess with the stream. There's 17 people standing by right now, just like, okay, come on, let's get back to this thing, you know. There's 17 people just waiting, and I just don't want to mess with, you know, try to keep it going, keep it. So and then we have your charger if we need it, right? And this will let me know if I'm getting low. He's failing? I can't believe it. What a work. Okay, yeah, that kind of figures so. Is everybody back? Do we need to let everybody know that?
I let people know.
You did let them know. Right on. I mean, what else can you do?
A lot of them are walking off.
Yeah.
Give them a minute or two.
I think a lot of people headed out. Ma'am, up front here.
Yes.
We're reopening the public hearing on the budget.
Okay, ma'am.
4B of the agenda with the public comment.
All right.
Is your floor.
Thank you. So now that I've forgotten my question, thank you for assessing at the time. I think what I'm hearing in this room right now, we're at an impasse. I feel like even though you're denying it, I feel like you've made up your minds that you are going to vote this budget in and you are going to vote in the rate increases. I hope you prove me wrong. But I am asking the board to not pass this proposed budget and not pass the rate increase until we have had someone who knows what they're doing revise the budget. This Deb, I think she's right there. Yeah. Or someone else that isn't going to charge us an arm and a leg for it, but to rework the budget. I've run my own business successfully for 20 years. I know that you have expenses. I know that you have income. No one in this room is denying that there need to be improvements. What I'm hearing people say is, please cut expenses to offset, and then you won't have to have such a huge increase.
You don't have to double what was recommended.
Thank you for your question. Yes, ma'am, up front, and guys, please keep it on. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have two questions, but the first question is, Sarah was renting that place over there that was only a small amount of money, and it had a restroom. Now the new board comes in, they gotta move here, they gotta take a couple buildings up, they gotta put a bathroom in there. Why is that? Why couldn't they stay in the old building and save us money? So why did they have to move over here?
Yes. Fancy stuff.
So, a couple of reasons for that. I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
So we were never on that lease. It was under her name, and they wouldn't redo it with us. So we had to look for a place.
Why wouldn't they do it? Because
we are a government entity. We apply specific language in a contract when we lease or rent a building. And so when we presented that contract, which was
we were trying to stay there.
It was a legitimate contract and things that have a specific language and requirements for Title 48 for a special district. And he did not want to sign it.
He just thought it was like too much. He's like, I don't want to deal with that. He wanted more of a simple one, but we were required to have certain language in there, and he didn't feel comfortable as a landlord with that.
And
he felt like he put him under some type of, and put him under a foot or something. I mean, like, he wanted to have more control of his asset.
So why did you have to get more expensive?
This was $100 more, I mean, maybe 150. It was like,
Plus or minus.
so, and if you look around Black Canyon City and see if you can find an office to lease for the price range that we're paying for this one, and we didn't have to put in a bathroom. We installed the sink because there's a toilet, and it's pretty offensive to go to the toilet. It's not a wash your hands.
Kind of disgusting.
And so that's all we did to the building. We had a sink put in. That was it.
I wanted to ask one more question. Okay, this young man here,
Oh, yeah.
he'll be here average of 4 hours probably. That's $1,200 we're paying him because you don't know how to run a meeting.
There you go. There you go. Boom.
Okay.
No
We
excuse.
had a meeting the other day, so we had a lawyer, we paid him $1,200. And now we're paying you $1,200. So that's $2,400 in this.
And she doesn't need to answer a budget question?
He pays out for a lawyer because she can't handle the meetings.
It's not her money, so she doesn't care.
That's exactly.
She signed an affidavit that said that she knows open meeting laws.
Tom, I can't, she's a mascot, I can barely hear it.
Okay, yeah.
Please.
I'm sorry.
That goes into the budget
Out of turn.
We have to pay for. And then they gotta raise our water rates. But she comes up with a good budget that satisfies everybody. And we're not paying lawyer fees for an accident somebody had that claimed she was working when she's not supposed to be working because she's not a worker. She's not hired by the county to go out and cut blocks. So we gotta pay for her lawyer for that.
Well, so there's, in terms of the
That's all
claim,
in the
in
budget.
terms of the claim, right, that is submitted to insurance. The way that works generally is insurance appoints their own counsel to
But she
defend.
can't even claim that.
No, but
Why is she putting it on the water?
the claim was submitted against the district. That's not something the district controls.
Why does it show employment of water company when she's not employed?
She was not working for the water company.
Jesus was here, he chipped that
She's not a laborer. So she claimed she was out playing, she was doing work out in the field. She can't do work out in the field because she's not licensed to do work in the field.
And again, I just
So
want Randy, we can
we're
only,
paying for that mistake, which she knew she couldn't do.
yeah, and I can only respond to the budget piece of that, which is any fees that come out of that, you know, again, insurance pays for those fees, not the district. That's not the insurance.
Who pays the insurance?
But still.
We do.
We
Pay that too.
Yeah, it's cool.
Because of that.
Thank
We're
you for
paying for
your
the
comments.
insurance
You
to
get to
cover
pay
her
Cover
$2
her
million
RX.
lawsuit.
It's not really a lawsuit.
Let's see what's coming out of her
I think this ladies know if there are questions.
Veto.
I wanted that out of the, we were paying for all her shit.
So regarding what we have budgeted for the billing system, the current budget is how much a year?
Oh, bottom line?
We only have one budget of 800 for the proposed one. Proposed.
Our current budget.
So the current one is 622,250 in revenue and 752,557 in.
No. I'm asking about what we pay for the system that we use, that we input the meter read stuff that generates the bill, our billing system.
Oh, I can answer this, but I don't know if I can get all of the systems involved. Enhanced is about, I think it's $8,000 to $10,000 a year for Enhanced, which is way too expensive, which is why we're looking for something that does a much better job that's less expensive. And then, what's the other software that we.
So, does the budget reflect that
No,
we're
we
looking to
use
spend
pay
less
but
on?
we don't pay
So the
them.
budget this year is less for the billing system than the budget for last year.
I'm sorry, what?
I was talking Scott.
Oh.
So what do we have budgeted currently for the year for our billing systems? And yes, the software that
Yes, is that the one?
You know, I'm gonna leave it at, I think so, but I'm not certain, because I don't know what Natalie does.
We're looking at 16
16 what? 743.
743. That's our second page.
You asked about 10. Currently, the budget is $10,000, but yet we've spent $20-some thousand, but the new budget is $10,000.
And that will enhance itself
So
is,
it's less for just, but we were budgeting less this year than we budgeted last year.
It's
So,
the
so that's,
same.
so we're looking to, that's gonna stay the same, but we're looking to get a cheaper program. So in essence, if we do get the cheaper program, then we'll be spending less than our allocated budget.
But we're still.
That is
And
not
the funds that are left after, so if we do get the new system and we spend less on it, what is going to happen to the excess funds that we would have allocated, that we budgeted, but since they didn't need to be allocated, where will those be allocated?
Well, so those are, that's an operating expense, right? So that wouldn't be moved from the operating.
Okay, so but it'll stay in the operating expense account.
If you don't spend it.
Yeah, if you don't spend it, it stays there.
this is just an estimate. These numbers, you can spend less than what's or more on any of these items. And if you spend more in another item, you look at a budget item and you say, oh, you know, we need to reduce this by 2,000, we gotta cut our spending here because we need to pay 2,000 more for this. You have to, is that?
And I understand that. That's why I was asking, what are we currently spending on the program? Then what is it costing us a year? So roughly around 10 grand is what it's been costing
It
us.
comes up for renewal in December, but we're going to hopefully find something better and less expensive.
And lower the cost. So that particular part of the budget is wrapped up in the general operating cost.
So next year, when we go back to this, you'll probably see that decrease in fuel and what we're talking about building, probably in half.
Make what, Joe?
Well, I don't know, Tom, it's gonna go down.
And I understand, if there's a surplus because we didn't use it, and that's what we want. So I understand, that was my question, where does the money go or stay if it doesn't get spent there? So like, we're saying we've allocated $100,000 this year for attorney's fees. So if we don't use that $100,000, where would that go? That is what I'm trying to ascertain. Not necessarily about the attorney, but just in general, it's going to stay in a specific fund. Like, is it going to stay in the attorney's possible
Same
fund?
answer. You know, in my bank account, if I don't go buy McDonald's, it stays in my account. So
Yes,
same thing.
but the way we have our budgeting structure, right? It says $100,000 for attorney fees, $3,500 for facility maintenance. So if we don't spend that, does that mean that it's going to stay in that specific fund? Or is it possible that we would be moving that to help in other areas? Like, hey, we didn't spend this $7,000 on attorney's fees. We're going to take that $7,000 and put it in capital improvement. Or we're going to take that $7,000 and put it in, you know, obviously that would be at the end of the fiscal year if we had a surplus in those individual areas. And right now, from what I've seen on a lot of this, there's some stuff you're saying we need less money. There's some stuff you guys are saying we need more money. So I'm trying to get a grasp.
There's a lot of nuance there, but I think the short answer is yes. That so next year, every year the district adopts a new budget. In these first two columns, for example, if we saw annualized attorney's fees were at 23,000, which at this time next year, well then you're not going to see the proposed still be 100,000.
No,
We're going to take that under consideration.
Yeah, and I understand that regarding fiscal year 2027, which is what we're here to vote on, right?
Yes, sir.
So regarding that and regarding fiscal year 2026, I'm trying to ascertain what some of the budget does within itself. If it doesn't get spent here, does it go over here?
No, it just stays.
It just stays right there.
Right. And then at the end of each fiscal year, it's a good idea, and we have it's a great idea, you go through before you do the next budget and see what you spent in the previous year on 2026's budget, so you can say, can we decrease the expenses here? Or do we need to raise them? Is that correct? You want to explain how that?
Well, we probably wouldn't say, can we decrease them unless we have a proposal such as new software that is cheaper. Okay, but if we didn't spend it this year, we're not gonna have the same budget amount for next year. We're gonna assume that we can live within that same amount of money. You know?
But you'll never know.
Okay, thank you for your question, sir. Yes, sir, your best.
So on the approved budget for 2026, there's $15,000 for security services. What exactly is that? That seems like a very large number. Could you give me that number? It's 16803 security services for $15,000 for the. It's approved for the 2026 budget. Security, is that a bodyguard?
Yeah, this year, 2,500.
Okay, 2,500.
What is that? What does security?
It's a good security system.
The security piece of it, our cameras. Maybe the 1 year was a little heavier because we had to get all that equipment. We couldn't, none of the stuff we could use from the last spot because it was all outdated and it didn't jive with the new systems that our security team uses.
So that's
And
like the well
you see
sites?
that was dropped to 2,500 proposed.
Yeah, so security services is like monitoring of the well sites. If we're renting big equipment, it's the cost for having security to watch that equipment.
Right, someone, there's a system in place of something happening, they can attend to it.
Gotcha.
We can look at our phone and we can see everything that's going on in the office. And if there's any unusual activity.
Scanning systems and stuff like that.
Thank you for your question, sir. We're going to keep
It ain't cheap.
Any other questions?
That's reasonable.
Can I?
Yeah, Tom.
Well, if anybody has questions, I'd just probably be last if I can.
No more questions on the budget. We're going to close the budget after.
Moving on.
Okay.
And so.
Oh, sorry, Tom. I think there's one more question.
Right on.
Can I give you?
Right on.
I just gotta find it real quick. Well, I see on the budget, 16739 penalty fee. We budgeted for $0. And I'm guessing, I'm asking, why did we budget for $0 when in last year, our actual cost,
16,739.
I think that's what I said.
Penalties?
Penalties, yeah. But why would we budget $0 whenever penalties and interest for last year was not $149? If you know how to read the statement, you would see that our actual is $5,446. Now, I do ask, what is the penalties and interest on?
Wait, we're talking about two different things. He asked if you were talking about 16,739, and you said yes, but you were talking about.
She said penalties.
Right?
On admin, yes, penalties and interest.
Oh, let me go back. So what's the line item again?
Well, apparently she knows what it is.
Well, she was quoting, I think, from 14,702.
Oh, penalties and interest?
Yeah.
And that's a revenue, not an expense.
What is, no, I want the expense one.
Okay, that's 16,739.
Yeah.
On the back side, last page.
Yeah.
About,
What are the penalties? The penalties on what?
The $149.
Yeah, penalties on what?
It was something to do with APS, remember? Natalie said it was late payments or something for the APS bill.
So Natalie is costing us money because Natalie didn't pay it on time?
I don't know.
For what?
$149 fee.
Why would APS charge us $149?
If Natalie doesn't get the bill,
How could Natalie not get the bill?
I don't know.
That's a question that Natalie needs to answer. We're not.
That was a one-time thing. Okay, that was the answer. It has to do with the
We wanted a board that can show up.
I think it has to do with the sending bills for our old office instead of the PO box.
You guys can't, you don't have access online.
When did seven money?
I don't know for
Yeah.
I know the accounting.
Yeah, you got a
Yes.
name against
So I
it.
think your question is, it was 200 before, why is it 0? Is that your question?
No,
I think how much-
I was asking what $149 was for.
Oh.
She said it was an APS thing. My question was, why would we have a late fee from APS? Then I was told it's probably because Natalie didn't get the bill. Well, did Natalie get the bill? Did Natalie not get the bill? Why would Natalie get the bill?
Yeah, I mean, we can go, if you want to, I think we can I would guess that it's not just one penalty. I would guess that's a bunch of small penalties. And
But
again,
there should never be a late fee on APS.
yeah, we don't, well, again, if you want that on the future agenda, you can get some detail on what that $149 is.
Yeah.
They'll be able to produce that.
Okay. I don't have it in my record for that.
We're going to add it to the future agenda.
Okay.
Okay, I think that was all of our questions, Tom, sir.
Thank you, Devin. And so I'd just like to basically read my objection to the proposed rate increase. So,
You can read
hello?
it. We just can't respond.
Thank you. And so my name's Tom Strezak. Already said, you know, been in town for so many years, on the board, whatever. Okay, so this is first to Chair Clayton. Chair Clayton, I hereby object to your complete disregard of the RCAC rate study and recommendations made by the RCAC team for our district. We waited long and patiently to get this information from them, which you touted so strongly for over a year, claiming how it was going to help us responsibly and fairly raise the rates as needed. I strongly object to your almost doubling the amount of the increase that they found to be reasonable for the continued sustainability of our district and small community water system. They factored in that many of us are low income and living on limited incomes. It's really quite unreasonable to ask of the owner users of this district to pay what you're demanding, considering how reckless you've been with the district's funds since you were seated a year and a half ago. You're literally unable to properly chair the board without legal counsel holding your hand every step of the way. It was your job to learn and know Arizona open meeting law before you were even seated on the board. In fact, you signed an affidavit stating that you did, along with your oath attesting you took your oath as well. Or at least you were supposed to, like all the other board members did. And that should be on file and on record in the office. But anyone watching these meetings, and I've done 50 of these meetings, I've live streamed and even going back to the old board, which somehow got deleted off the district website.
Right.
The links to those meetings, don't know what happened to them, but they got deleted off the website. So nobody has access to them anymore, except I'll be providing the access to everybody for those meetings. They are on my YouTube channel, not your district channel or your YouTube channel. So that ain't happening, okay. But anyone, okay. Early on, you led us to believe let me get back in context here. Okay, so you did. You took your oath, and you also signed the affidavit that said you know open meeting law, but you don't. But anyone, anyone watching these meetings can see that you clearly did not, and worse yet, never even aspired to, or simply are incapable even to this day. Early on, you led us to believe this was just going to be for the first few meetings. Then you had us approving a budget with $130,000 annual legal expenses and told us this was now going to be a way of life for the district. I say we, the owner users, cannot afford your luxurious legal spending spree just so you can have an attorney holding your hand day and night, constantly walking you along. So you can send him 500 emails a month. It's disgusting. We also can't afford your consistently failing experiments with management and operations, which have been what you call valuable lessons, costing us tens of thousands of dollars at a time. This needs to stop now. The board that enables and goes along with this is complicit. I think we all understand that this is a crumbling infrastructure, but it's not going to get fixed while you're throwing so much money out the window on unjustified and unnecessary expenditures.
Absolutely.
How about you show us some good faith and restraint on your spending before you ask for double what the experts are recommending for our district?
Step down, resign.
I truly believe if you really wanted to serve the best interest of the owner users of this district, you'd step down and let the county step in and help us right this sinking ship. But I know you won't do that because you have a very large ego to feed. And that's a terrible shame for all of us. Thanks for your consideration of my objection to your unreasonable proposed rate increase. Last paragraph, almost done. And now, I'm pleading to each of you on this board, please don't back this chair who has proven herself time and again to be an irresponsible failure in her position. Please be reasonable and considerate of your community and stay with the RCAC recommendation of scenario 1, which is basically less than $12 per month increase. Please do not take from us double of what the experts recommend at this time, or at least not until such time as you've shown us transparency and good faith in your fiduciary responsibilities. Show us that our hard-earned money will go to fixing our infrastructure instead of being wasted on big corporate ideas and luxuries that never seem to benefit us, but rather just cost us dearly. Please do the right thing for the good people of this community who entrusted you to represent them and vote for scenario 1, which is in the best interest of the people of this district. Thank you for your time and consideration. I leave this to you now. It's in your hands. Thank you.
I think we're all in agreement. Let's get some results.
Thank you.
So I think comments, Tom, I'm not going to respond to anything.
I wasn't looking for a response, not from you. Yeah.
Okay, well, as we talked about, that was our last question/comment. So we're going to close the public hearing. That was item 4C. We are moving now into the special meeting to discuss and potentially vote and approve the rate fee schedule and the budget as proposed by the district. So we are on agenda 5, Elena.
Okay.
And so if you would like to invite a motion, we will do so now.
I would like to entertain a motion to move into the... Oh, sorry.
Well, let him make the motion.
Sorry.
I'll make
a motion to approve resolution 2026.
Can't hear ya.
What's that?
Can't hear you.
I'll reset. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-02, adoption of the rate and fee schedule. I make a motion to approve. Oh, sorry.
And
Say it a third time?
that's the schedule as proposed.
Melina, didn't you have a motion?
Vincent, would you like to second the motion? Can you hear?
I object to that. If he can't show up in
Who's
person,
there?
yes. We don't know that that's him on the telephone.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, they still got a quorum.
Me and all five.
They still got a quorum. I mean, but yeah, that's,
Nothing to these.
yeah, no, exactly, you know. Yeah, no, they're not listening,
I will second the motion.
they're Elaine's lapdogs. Elaine's lapdogs, except Melina.
Well, we're not happy.
I would like to make a counter motion, please.
Melina?
We'll deal with this first motion first, and then we can deal with any other motion. Okay, so I heard a second from Madam Chair. Okay, so we are going to move on to the discussion. Is there any further discussion?
Not gonna be a wise thing to do. Not in this town.
Vincent, anything?
Vincent?
Yeah. Okay, so,
All in favor?
You guys
Of approving resolution 2602, say aye.
Should I ask, is there discussion?
Oh.
Yeah, she's in a hurry. Yeah, we gotta get this done.
Okay, then.
oh, I asked. Yeah, okay, so before we get to the vote then, where's the discussion, please?
About the rate increase?
Yes, ma'am.
Go, Melina.
So on the rate increase, you know, I didn't read the whole thing, but I did read enough of it to find four little words that y'all might have missed that was recommended that we do. And the whole sentence reads, the district's financial position reflects growing capital reserves, creating more money, right? But tightening unrestricted operating liquidity. So, you know, that's in there, and y'all might have missed it, but she's just wasting it.
Unfortunately, it was already decided.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
spent
you know.
3-4 hours of our lives
Yeah, you know
trying
what?
to fight.
They're not
for
listening.
our rights. And it was already decided.
You guys already
They're not listening to the
Put us through
You voted yes, you
Yeah.
voted yes, and so did you.
No, not Melina, not Melina. But they're not listening. The other two are Elaine's lapdogs. Yeah. They're not listening.
Shameful.
It's shameful. It is shameful.
We should all have a vote. Not just
Yeah,
Bill.
well, I mean, this is what we ended up with. Hey, and you know what? Yeah, my sincere apology for having anything to do with that chair, that person. My sincere apology to this entire town.
Call them all.
Oh, there will be a recall, but there may be shackles before the recall. So, yeah. Yeah, that chair, I know a little bit about her.
Okay, so that was your comment? Okay. Anything else?
Is that my comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, Melina, Melina, I'm sorry, I was over you. Please repeat it, please, for all of us. For our full attention. I'm sorry. Just,
Read it again?
if you don't mind, I mean, for our full attention for you. Because you're the one person that listens to us and represents us on this board. Please, Melina, we're listening. I'm sorry. My
You want me
apologies,
to read the
sincere.
whole paragraph or just the sentence? Just the sentence. The district's financial position reflects growing capital reserves, but tightening unrestricted operating liquidity. Accordingly, rate adjustments are necessary, you know, to maintain the operations and the life cycle asset funding and preserve adequate reserves and ensure financial readiness for regulatory-driven capital improvement. But I just want to say that I think this rate increase Right here, I have it. I'm concerned with some of these things because why are you going to charge people more for simply for having a bigger meter? It doesn't make sense to me why you would, I mean, the same amount of water runs through the meter. You're not getting any extra gallons out of it. So why do you want to make those numbers bigger?
I can't even find a big meter, you use big pipes. How you gonna do a big meter with small pipes?
What's that?
Big meters doesn't go with the small pipes, the big pipes. If they change the big
Reducers,
meter-
yeah, reducers, whatever,
But it's the same amount of water.
Because we're discussing with the board. So don't take any
Well, why
questions.
can't I?
but yeah, no, it's,
Police and they're not.
Yeah, but she's tired. She
Amen.
needs to go.
You can,
Shameful.
well, you can keep making your comments right now. Well, you can go down. You don't have to.
Oh, they do.
I think the proposal.
That was so she took it off.
And you want to vote to say yes. Yeah. So when you're done with your comments, we'll just go. Okay.
I'll be,
All right,
but
so-
I wanted to make another comment on the other part.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna proceed with the vote.
Okay, so, just a second, the motion was made by Sean, I seconded the vote. So now it is all in favor of approving resolution 2026-02, adoption of the rate and fee schedule, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Melina?
No.
all right. We love you, Melina. We love you. Thank you for being our voice.
Shameful.
You have to say nay.
Okay.
Nay.
Nay.
Nay, don't say no.
She says
You're
nay.
in the minutes, I said voting no. Yep.
Nay.
Not listening to anything
That's in the minutes.
the town people had to say.
All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the last thing, or one more, second motion. Sean.
Snakes in the grass.
Make the motion to approve resolution 2026-03, adoption of fiscal year 2026-2027 budget.
I'd like to make a counter motion, please.
Well, we have to deal with this motion first, and then, once a motion's on the table, we have to deal with it, and then we can get to it.
Oh.
So,
I should have made my.
You were a little late, Melina, sorry. Yeah, you were a little late. You should have jumped in there, but
After this, I won't.
hey, you tried. You tried.
I
Hey,
will second that motion, any discussion?
Melina's doing her very best. She's going to be mentored by very good people.
Yeah, you said
Yeah,
yes.
there's a plan. There's a plan moving forward. Yep.
Who put the motion up?
Sean made the motion.
Okay, that's all I want to know, thank you.
So we're talking about the budget, and while we were talking about, somebody mentioned wanting to have the BMO statement. So I called BMO, and I spent over an hour on the phone with them, and I hit dead end. However, I did receive at 4 o'clock this morning in the email, the BMO account for me. And I would, can I show them this?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're discussing right now, so what's?
So I'll just tell them
Is
about
this
it?
related to the budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think so, because it's where money's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Treasurer? Yeah.
Good job, Melina. All right, so this is the BMO account, and all your deposits that you make in cash or money order or
Personal check.
swiping thing I don't do that. so I don't
Emergency
know.
services.
I don't know what that is. But all that money goes into this account, okay? And then Lisa showed me, when I first came on, the checks, they run through a little machine, and the swipey things is taken care of out there somewhere. But all the cash payments have to be taken to the post office and turned into a money order so that they can run them through the check thing. Okay? So the district pays whatever the money order fee is, like, you know, it's $255 or something like that. But anyways, all that money goes to BMO. And I noticed on the BMO this morning that there are teller deposits. So while I had the young man on the phone, I asked him, I said, what is a teller deposit? You know, because maybe I'm stupid or something. And he said, that's the deposit you make with cash at the window. Oh, okay. At the bank in Mayor, you have to make a cash deposit? He said, yeah.
What's funny about that?
There are 9 teller deposits on this statement. Shall I read them to you?
Yes.
Teller deposit on May 20th, $384 and some change. Teller deposit on May 20th, same day, $1,015.56. Teller deposit on the same day, $3,273. I don't know where that's coming from, because we shouldn't have any cash deposits, because all the cash is turned into a money order. So, you know, that's just a few of them. There's one in here for $9,000. I personally would like to know where that money is coming from.
There's a $9,000 cash deposit?
Yeah, I might be mistaken of something else, but let me look again.
And Melina, just tying this back to the budget, is this related to a specific budget item? Or?
Well, I want to know where this money is coming from.
Oh, yeah.
It is, but that's me. She's laughing. Who do you think's laughing?
Shut up, Vince.
Very shameful business.
Anyway, we're almost there. Here's a copy of a couple of the checks. Checks require 2 signatures. And she's sending them out with only 1 signature. And I have a photo of another one that has no signature. So I don't know what's happening with those checks. I don't know.
Sheriff. The Attorney General is going to be in some of those.
I know.
I hope so.
Forensic audit.
Office is going to be
But it's going to take a lot of complaints to get there.
So she wants to
That are all
Given the budget or just.
But she doesn't, she is the only one taking audit.
And so, for example,
She's bullied.
Bullied.
Oh, yeah. She's made threats against people in the community. Yeah. She's, yeah.
Well, I'm asking you if.
Yeah, it ain't gonna fly, and it ain't gonna go out I think it's gonna be shackles before the recall.
Oh, yeah. Prison.
I mean, I really got a good feeling about it. Yeah, shackles before the recall. It's disgusting.
$300 an hour, plus the drive
doesn't
up.
represent us.
Pizza at Benny's after this. Pizza at Benny's after this. Yeah, we need to talk. We love y'all. Thank you for what you guys are doing. God bless you.
That would be very shameful of you guys up there.
Yeah, really, like, get a spine, man. Get a spine like Melina's got a spine. You know? Yeah, grow a spine like Melina there. Boys. Oh, table till the next meeting. It's like, and then it just disappears. Table till the next meeting. It's like, no, it disappears. Because she overloads the agenda plate, and she puts so much on there. And you know what? There's probably about 40 items that just vanish, just disappears. She's going to answer for it. And actually, the attorney's office allowing it, and we're paying the attorney, like, and the attorney's allowing it, it ain't going to fly. This man's listening. He's getting it. I mean, I've been there. I already know, like, it's a bunch of bullshit, you know.
Melina, it doesn't matter because the truth has come out.
Back to the budget, I have a problem with line 16723. Already brought up before, but I agree it should be omitted. Nobody has to travel anywhere in this town.
Oh, travel expenses? That's whining and dining, I think, or something like kind of. Yeah. Yeah, Chalene's and I don't know, Rock Springs.
Big merchant fees, those are pretty expensive, you guys, I have to admit. The computer software, I don't know what these things are for, but she's paying, RWI is the web host. And we pay them X amount a year. I think it's like 700. Don't quote. I have it in my somewhere. But she's got the RWI, and she's also got the Bluehost, which I don't even know what the Bluehost is hosting. And then she's got this new thing.
Bluehost is the website domain for the district. So it has to be registered so that the district has basically like somebody else can't take that and say we're BCCWID.com. So that's that's standard fare. That's fine. The website is good. You mentioned RWI. I believe that's the website actually. So that's explained. That's I mean on behalf of the board. It's don't know if they understand it, but
yeah.
What about the 6,000 on the defense attorney? Did you have a question about that somehow, or?
I don't think I can talk about that.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's kind of. That's more on a financial report, I guess, as opposed to the bookkeeper's report. Yeah.
Well, and again, I think we can address that one. That one's on the budget. I was just going to answer that.
Oh.
I think that's in the annualized prior fiscal year. That's not a final proposal.
There's one for criminal defense attorney, but that's actually in the bookkeeper's report, I believe, from May.
Okay.
And we just don't know, like, did the board ever approve $6,000 for criminal? And I know that's off subject.
Let's let Linda finish her comment.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, my respect, Evan.
Are you sure?
I'll finish my comments now.
Okay.
But feel free to stop me after the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was the discussion, so now would be all in favor, say aye. Melina? Or nay, say aye or nay. Okay, Sean? Aye. Vincent?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-1. All right, so is this over?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, everyone, and
waste.
Yeah, you know. Hey, Adam.
Shameful. Shameful.
I just asked you about it. I just
I
asked
said,
you.
if you want to run for board, and I said, oh, no, I don't, you
Right now, Irene was able to take that. We were just talking about it.
It's because that, you know, you are not in agreement with what you're saying.
Now, he's never shown up for a meeting once since he's been voting on it.
All right, so I'll get you ready.
Okay, well, yes. Pizza at Benny's for the community, not the traders. Okay. Thanks for watching, folks. And, yeah, we knew it was going to be what it is, you know, but okay. Well, God bless you all for being here and caring.